Palala Shadia. You know, this is Sizzla Kalonji, and I'm reaching out to all my Hebrew Israelite family. Hebrew Israelite Masha Paka. Glory and honor to the Holy One of Israel, you know. The great I am that I am. Hayaha Ashar Hayaha. Bahasham Yahashaha. Wa Kadash Rawak. Condolences to the family of the Hebrew Israelite brother, you know what I'm saying? The family of the Bishop Dwayne, the Hebrew Israelite world, I lost a great soldier for truth and of the most thing. This is Sister Kalonji sending my condolences to the family, okay? Oh yes, you got to be strong and be on the best you can. The world is out there, conquer your fear, and don't you wait too long. Yes, you got to be strong and be on the best you can. The world is out there, conquer your fear. Bless, Barak, Kal, Bar, Yat, Mashapaka, Palala Shadia, Ahab. Praise the Most High. Sizzla Kalonji.
Sizzla. In the truth. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. Let's go. The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited.
We just want to give you thanks right now for all that you've done. As we open our minds and our hearts and give you praise.
You're in this place.
You sent your son. Here in this place, we marvel at your He was persecuted. We humble ourselves in your grace. We just want to give you love. Here in this place, bearing your fruit. As we seek your face. Here in this place, we won't forget what you did on that cross. Right now, we're just gonna open our hearts and our minds. Here in this place, we give you praise. All praises to our higher by Hashem Yeshaya, Rawchaa, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Here in this place, we marvel at your glory. We humble ourselves in your grace. Here in this place, your face, here in this place, we give you praise.
Go ahead, young man.
Here in this place,
You praise, that's right, come on.
we give you praise. Place. He hung on that tree, he bled, he died, he rose. It wasn't about works that any man could ever boast. I pray that your heart's convicted, cause some will abort the mission. We will will endure, we will enjoy as we walk in His truth, in His likeness. We will walk in His love, in His righteousness, bearing His fruit to the end of days. Reflect all His ways here in this place. We marvel at your glory, we humble ourselves in your grace here in this place. As we seek your face here in this place.
Higher.
We give you
Most High.
praise
Being exalted throughout the four corners of the earth.
here in this
Here in this place.
we give you praise here in this place. We marvel at your glory, we humble ourselves in your grace here in this place. As we seek your face here in this place. We give you praise
Give you praise.
here in this place. We give you praise. Oh, here in this place.
That's right. Here in this place, we give the Most High a higher Bahashim Yeshaya praise. Thank the brother Stevie Diamond for such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song. Beautiful song. Here in this place. That's the link if you all want to go and support and listen to my brother Stevie Diamond. I mean, what a fitting song, especially coming back from the UK. So many things I would like to talk about this evening. Coming in from the UK. Let me turn this up a little bit. Coming in from the UK. So many things I would like to talk about. We laid a fellow saint warrior down. He's in the bosom of Abraham waiting for his change. Brother Dwayne, the twin. We love him. The outpouring from the four corners of the earth was overwhelming. We thank you all for all your love and mercy. When you think of the UK, hey, you think of Gaja, but you definitely think of the twins also, right? And I just spoke to Blaine, and you know what? I told Blaine, listen, he's coming back more powerful than he's ever been. We laid his body in the ground, but his spirit goes on. And we're not to operate like those who have no hope. If we believe that Christ came, died, resurrected in the earth after 3 days, he's going to bring our saints back with him. So, Dwayne, you know all we love you. You know we love you. And he's going to be here for the final war. All right, jumping right in. Shalom, brothers and sisters. As you can see, of course, my brother, Sizzler, Gaja, him and Gaja, he's a good brother who's converted, who understands the truth. And he wanted to send his personal condolences and respect to Dwayne in the name of a higher brother, Sizzler, who's been banned from the UK for not apologizing to the quote unquote, as he called it, baddie boys. That's the word he put. That's the phrase he used. But he wanted to say a shout out to the world. Sizzler, my brother.
Palala Shadia. You know, this is Sizzla Kalonji, and I'm reaching out to all my Hebrew Israelite family. Hebrew Israelite Mashapaka. Glory and honor to the Holy One of Israel, you know, the great I am that I am, Hayaha, Ashar, Hayaha, Bahasham, Yahashaha, Wa, Kadash, Rawak. Condolence to the family of the Hebrew Israelite brother, you know what I'm saying? The family of the Bishop Dwayne, the Hebrew Israelite world, I lost a great soldier for truth and of the most thing. This is Sister Kalonji sending my condolence to the family, okay? Oh yes, you got to be strong and be on the best you can. The world is out there, conquer your fear, and don't you wait too long. Yes, you got to be strong and be on the best you can. The world is out there, conquer your fear. Bless, Barak, Kal, Bar, Yat, Mashapaka, Palala Shadia.
And you can see that brother is dropping that ancient Phoenician Hebrew. Another fulfilling prophecy where the Most High says he would give Israel the pure language. We'll go back to the pure language. Folks, I'm going to tell you, we're teaching it right here in that Hebrew and Bible Academy. I'm telling you. That's right. People are learning the ancient Phoenician, not this Yiddish, European, German Hebrew that's really not the true Hebrew. So I digress. Okay, jumping right in, we have Elder Rawchaa who's going to come in a little later. I'm Elder Rawchaa of the Gathering of Christ Church. And as you see, that's right. Get in store, get ready for a serious broadcast this evening. And of course, brothers and sisters, I would like you all to chime in. We're going to go directly to the lines immediately. It's not going to be a long broadcast tonight. I don't think so. You see the topic this evening. Jumping right in. Living in an antichrist world. Now, why am I going here? We have brothers getting ostracized, our people in particular, for staking claim to our true heritage as Israel. Let me make it clear. We're not Israelites according to our religion. Okay? Others can convert into a religion and be German or German white or German Polish and go through a 3-year conversion, 3 to 5 years, and become Jewish. Okay? Being an Israelite isn't a religion. It's our ethnic. That's right. It's our ethnicity. It's our blood. Okay? And it so happens the law, statutes, and commandments is our way of life when it comes to civility and morality amongst our nation. Okay? It's not like joining Muslims or joining a group, even though the media is trying to push it like that. Okay? And I wanted to mention that first, brothers and sisters. Why? Because living in an antichrist world, we must realize that only Antichrist would deny us our true stake in prophecy. Only Antichrist would kill Christ and go against Christ's people, which leads us here today. What does an Antichrist world looks like? Right? First and foremost, who would be leading the Antichrist charge? That's right, Satan himself. But not just him. He would have a people in particular to execute his satanic, demonic ways on earth. Okay? He would have a specific people. What people in particular can we look to say, okay, he would use these particular people in particular according to prophecy? Well, the Bible calls them Edomites or Esau. Now, the greatest trick Esau played on the earth was making the whole earth or having the whole earth believe he never existed. Right? Now, why am I just stick with me because I'm going to show you something. Esau is our twin brother. He's the so-called white man or European today. Now, of course, I'm not talking about all white people, because let me tell you, the powers that be who are Esau are also after white people who believe in Christ. Okay? Because what you believe in of itself is a threat to the existence of their power. If you believe in Christ, you believe that our Christ is coming to topple Satan's world. Well, guess what? By default, you are a threat to the powers that be. Okay? So when I say Esau or Edom, or the Bible points out the European or whites, it's not all of them. Okay? In specific, it's those who are operating with hidden agendas against the world, and primarily against our people who are the children of Israel. Now, living in an antichrist world, in order for us to understand this, we must point to the antichrist, I would say, the antichrist scenarios or situations that we can actually point to politically, scientifically, through education, or whatever the case is, so we'll know what to avoid or point out as evil. Now, I know we've been beating this drum on Kyrie and others concerning us being Israelites, but why is it that no soon as our people claim to be Israelites, it becomes the worst thing that could have actually happened on earth? Because that's the one thing they never wanted us to know. Not that just we're Israelites. No, that's not it. The fact that we are in direct lineage and bloodline to Jesus Christ himself. The same blood that was sacrificed, that was actually shed for the sins of our nation, to one day stake hold to a promise. Israel. So of course they don't want us speaking of us being Israel. Why? Well, because then it brings into question geopolitically what's going on in the Middle East right now. What are you over there fighting for? If God's people are over here suffering under the hands of white supremacy, which I call Edomite supremacy. See, this is why they would aim towards shutting us up concerning this key prophetic moment of the awakening. There's nothing worse on earth right now than blacks claiming to be Israelites, obviously. And that's how you know we're living in an antichrist world. Now, there's one thing I would like to point out in particular, brothers and sisters, and please get the likes up. This will be a great broadcast, a lot of information. Please hit the likes as you come in. Folks, one thing I'm going to point out in particular, right? It's so much to unpack when it comes to Esau or Edom. Okay? But one thing that I'm going to highlight is that no one can ignore. Esau in Genesis 36 is labeled the cunning hunter. The cunning hunter. So he attacks unseen, like a hunter. He'll stand behind something like a term or a name or victim while attacking. That's how Esau operates. He's the cunning hunter. When I look at the Tuskegee experiment, right, where our people were getting experimented on, and it didn't start here. It started way back in slavery, coming off the ships. That was Esau doing that to us. The same people who are crying victim right now, their forefathers, even up until this day, had a hand in destroying our people through science, the political systems, as well as false religion set up to actually distract us or redirect us from our promise as Hebrew Israelites. That's how they operate. One thing come to mind before I show you what I have today is there was a movie that comes out each year. I used to love this movie, the original one. Every year around so-called Christmas time, this particular movie comes out by Bruce Willis called Die Hard. Folks, when I was growing up, that was one of my favorite movies, right? Die Hard, right? I can't help to think that they're talking about us. Doesn't matter what they're trying to do all these things to work against God's people, Esau in particular, but yet we just won't die. Tuskegee experiment, separating our families, the Willie Lynch, civil rights, where they end up aligning us with demons and Satanists from the white liberal faction of Edomites, witches, warlocks, and sorcerers. See? When they pulled us into their political system, they aligned us with the worst of their own people intentionally to attack us from the inside. One thing in particular when it comes to that movie Die Hard is when the evil, sinister Eastern European, the bad guy in that particular movie, he was so fed up with his henchmen that he was losing one at a time looking for Bruce Willis, that he sought to go out and onto the elevator and try to figure out where Bruce Willis was, right? And this was the guy that was behind the whole thing, folks. He was behind the computer systems that shut down the building, okay? He had the men in place. He already had he had the names of all the people in the building who had power, the executives. He knew who to tie up, put in different rooms. He had that whole building mapped out. Highly intelligent. But no sooner as he saw Bruce Willis looking for him, he feigned victim. Oh my God, right? Oh, can I get a cigarette? Can I get a cigarette? Oh yeah, I was up there with them and I got free and, I was able to escape. And Bruce Willis thought that he was one of the good guys. But no sooner as Bruce Willis was able to see him, he understood how to flip from predator to victim. From predator to victim. That's Esau, the cunning hunter. And when they say that anti stuff and try to put that up, folks, it's all a front. They only put it up when what? When we can see them. So that they can go into a shell for a moment, only to begin to attack us even harder after we see them. It's the same thing today, folks. And this is why they're very afraid right now. They're paranoid. Keep in mind, like I said, we're Israelites according to our God, according to our promise, and it's not our religion. This is who we are. And it's our position in Christ to, at the very end, point out the antichrist. Because Paul told us, what? In the book of Thessalonians, Christ cannot come until that man of sin be revealed, till the whole earth understand how the antichrist operates in the earth. In the earth. Now let's go. Living in an antichrist world. Let's go. Let's talk about it. When we claim to be Israelites and stake claim to our prophetic promise according to the word, according to the Torah and Tanakh, not the evil Talmud. Every time mainstream media, Hollywood, they all rally together, corporations, to stomp that information out immediately and make those who would stake claim as an Israelite, especially a black man, an example. Now, I'm curious. It's interesting to me how none of them rally together to fight against what I'm about to show right now. How many of your news circulations, Israel or people in Judaism, or who's supposed to, according to the media, holds the moral compass of what's right, wrong, what should be said or silenced, right? When you see stuff like this, there's no rally anywhere. There's no vitriol anywhere to push back against what's on the screen. Virginia Elementary School to host satanic after-school program. The school board says they're legally required to offer the club. This is how you know who are the antichrist, because those people that was hollering about Kyrie and all that others, and our people being Israelites, you notice they don't have no pushback against this. What's more threatening to the future of our families? Me claiming to be an Israelite, or them allowing Satanists to groom and to initiate children into Satanist ideology and religion? Now, mind you, I don't know if it's a coincidence, but the Church of Satan, coincidentally, was started by a quote unquote, allegedly, and I could pull him up, Levine, a Jewish person. But there's no pushback on none of this. Why would they want our children to be programmed into accepting Lucifer or Satan? Is this prophetic? Absolutely, because there's antichrist behind every curtain. They have a problem with Kyrie and all that, but you mean to tell me they will allow this? And that brings into question what's going on with our politicians. Who are they? What is their true purpose within political office? Well, I'm going to talk about that too. It has nothing to do with being in a political position to help its constituents. No, it's aligning themselves in an army against Jacob, against Israel, against the children of Israel, who we are. Folks, y'all better get ready. You must get ready and think hard before allowing your children to continue in these schools. It's time to get back community and homeschooling, folks. Because I'm doing the research concerning the number of witch covens that's throughout Pennsylvania and the different parts of the United States. These witches from these witch covens, folks, their jobs in particular in number, not allegedly, are nurses, some are doctors, school teachers. See? School teachers, all of that. They're purposely getting the education to go into our inner city schools to turn us against God. Now, at one time, it was just they were slow rolling the process. They were slow rolling the process for a while. But now they're fast tracking it. They've always been there. They've always been there. Now, this wouldn't be possible if you didn't have Satanists who have put people in place like this guy here. Like this guy right here. Bishop Jamal Bryant. Now, this guy had everything to say against Kevin Samuels, right? Listen to this devil. This is what antichrist looks like. Listen, we are equal opportunity when it comes to pointing out antichrist. We can point out the white antichrist, also the so-called black ones.
I'm looking for people that smell like weeds. No, really, New Birth is the largest land-owning black church in America. Wow. And so my position to my deacons is, why aren't we not raising cannabis? I'll be able to bring in black males. They're able to do it legally. I'm teaching them farming.
Oh my God.
I'm helping them to enhance the ecosystem. This is the kind of conversation. So if the guy, black boy in Bankhead said, they growing weed at the church, where do I join?
Yes.
I don't need no pamphlet for him.
I'm going to let that marinate for 1 second. Brothers and sisters, we are currently living under a famine. Just received a phone call a few hours ago from Brother Malak in Houston, where he went into Sam's, and there's no chicken or anything in a lot of the stores there. This guy, who claims to be a saint, a believer in Christ, a black Christian, is saying that New Birth owns all of this land, and instead of growing food in the midst of a famine, he wants to go into the cannabis business with, that's right, with those who believe in Christ's finances. And then he said, what better way to show black men, folks, he's using this as a selling point to get black people, black men back into the church. What type of black men going to join that church? Why don't you teach truth, Mr. Bryant, if you want the black men back? Black men aren't coming back to the church because of crap like this, antichrist. But I don't see no one anywhere. News circulations, I don't see Christians, I don't see Muslims, I don't see Jewish people standing up and saying enough is enough. Let's cancel these evildoers who are threatening the future of family and those who believe in God. But I'm going to show you the people they would cancel. Folks, y'all got to hit the like button. Help me out here. Help me out, please. We're about 1,000 likes down. Okay? All right. Come on. Y'all doing me wrong right now. Come on. We have a great broadcast here for you. A great broadcast. Hit the like button. All right. 1 second, folks. I'll be right back. Y'all got to get the likes up for me, brothers and sisters. I'll be right back. The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
Get the likes up. Come on, brothers and sisters. Throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that he used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited. That's right. 1 second, 1 second. 1 second, folks. 1 second. Hebrew and Bible Academy, you are invited. We just did, that's right. We just did the creation of the universe. And it's the same antichrist who came up with the theory of evolution so that they can have the world question the belief, the belief and question whether or not God exists. On top of that, would have people do what? Question the Bible's narrative on how all things came to be. The same people claiming to be God's people are working tirelessly to have the world believe he doesn't exist. So when we went to let me tell you, we broke it down like you've never seen before. The creation of the universe, week 1. Laid it out, the illustration, you name it. It was A1 with understanding the truth concerning how all things came to be. That's right. This week we're going into tracing the serpent's seed. How, that's right. The celestial realm ended up dealing with people bringing forth another race that's connected to the evildoers who are currently running the world. That's right. Week 2, tracing the serpent seed. Come on in. historytimes.org. historytimes.org. Come on in because we're only in week 2 coming Sunday. If you get in, don't worry about it. We'll give you the news, everything you've missed from the prior week. Don't worry about it. Okay? Tracing the serpent seed, historytimes.org. Let me see what our count looks like now. It's a little better, but as you come in, please hit the like button. Now, let's go in. Let's go in now. I really appreciate you all hitting the like button. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's go. And let me give a shout out to my brothers from TD Hip Hop. Want to shout them out here. They're breaking down how Ice Cube, who have shown the world that he regret having a hand in the gangster rap thing that have destroyed our community, has the knowledge that he's a Hebrew Israelite now, right? So an antichrist would do what? Let's see what they're doing with our brother now, Hollyweird in particular. And it's the antichrist who are running Hollywood.
Back in 2020, when Ice Cube revealed his contract with Black America during the presidential election, many Black Americans applauded him for his efforts in attempting to attain concrete transformative legislation for the Black community. But with all that love came a lot of hate as well, particularly from the left, Democrats to be exact. People began to slander Ice Cube's name, labeling him anti-you-know-what. But in all honesty,
they labeled Ice Cube anti-Semitic only for posting online, folks, proof that the slaves in Egypt, that's right, on the papyrus papers as well as the walls in Egypt. I've been to Egypt, folks. Luxor and all the areas of Egypt. They know that there's Black people who are Israelites on the walls within those pyramids. The only thing Ice Cube did was post that and said, hey, they look like the Israelites to me. And they labeled him anti for doing that. We can't post anything. He didn't say anything. He just posted facts, historical and archaeological facts that the slaves in Egypt were in fact the Israelites, and that we derive from those same people who went into the land of Canaan. That's right, highlighting a secular story from the Hyksos that said the what? That's right, the Asiatics went into the land of Canaan. That's us, Israelites. So because, now, hold up, folks. When Ice Cube, brothers and sisters, was saying, F the police, talking about shooting his brother straight out of Compton, shooting and killing his people, they celebrated him. The antichrist celebrated him. Right? But no sooner as he started becoming conscious concerning his true what? Prophetic right as an Israelite, he staked claim to who he was. Hollywood began to cancel him. Living in an antichrist world. Fair use.
The majority of the hate largely came from black celebrities and political pundits, also known as the Vote Blue No Matter Who gang. But now it appears that this hatred for Cube has gone far beyond just simply black celebrities and political pundits, and has now extended all throughout Hollywood as a whole. It appears that Ice Cube's contract with Black America may have gotten him blackballed out of Hollywood completely. Now, mind you, the CWBA was the first straw, but the second straw appears to have come when Cube refused to take the V. Now, the first sign of trouble that indicated Ice Cube may now be officially on the blackballed list is when he appeared on $1 Million Worth of Game last month, to which he stated, "I turned down the movie because I didn't want to get the mother effing V. I turned down $9 million.
Ice Cube said he turned down $9 million for refusing the shot. Right? And I'm going back to the point where Esau is a cunning hunter, for those who missed it, folks. And those who know they were Israelites, they understand who the real enemy is according to the Bible. Who's Esau? So how can we trust Esau? How can we trust Esau, who's against Jacob since the womb? How can we trust Esau to give us anything that would benefit or help our people? And I'm talking about institutionalized Edomites, when their system was set up to oppress us. So Ice Cube, knowing he's an Israelite, said, Hades to the no, I'm not doing that. It's against the laws of my God. So they began to blackball him, because he was supposed to be used as a figurehead, a symbol to push Hollywood's agenda against the children of Israel who are suffering in these ghettos, our people.
I didn't want to get the V. F that V. F y'all for trying to make me get it. I don't know how Hollywood feels about me right now.
Now, y'all don't know this, folks. Here's the power of knowing you are Israel, folks. Hosea 4:6 states, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. By knowing you are an Israelite, you understand that we are under what? We are under a curse for our disobedience, and are under constant attack by all the Gentile nations who are aligned against us, according to Psalms 83. So now God, with the knowledge of ourselves, have given us the knowledge of how these other nations or races come together and align themselves against us. So now you know how to avoid their political weaponry, their science, which is antichrist science that they would use against us, like Tuskegee and what we're currently dealing under. You know now, because I'm an Israelite, that hold up, the Gentiles would benefit from us what? Serving or staying under them perpetually. So it's not in their interest to give us anything to help us scientifically or medically. It's not in their interest. So that means when you know you're an Israelite, Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, you no longer lack the knowledge of those who, according to the prophecies, are your enemies and will continually attacking you and your family. So you begin to do what? You still do business with them, but now you operate with them accordingly at arm's length. No, you're not giving me nothing. I don't trust what you're trying to give me. I don't trust what you're saying. The only interaction you'll have with me is my interest that comes with what you can do for us. That's it. You can't deliver me anything. I don't trust you. But since we must coexist until Christ returns, Antichrist, I'll do business with you, but on my terms. See? On my terms. Because according to my law, David didn't trust you. Christ didn't trust you, right? I had a guy on our show a couple of weeks ago who totally disrespected Christ and didn't think that that was anti-Semitic, and he was a Jewish guy. If Christ didn't trust you, David didn't trust you, Moses couldn't trust you, why should we? See, that's the fear of them knowing we're Israelites, because not only will we understand that, we'll be able to stave off their scientific and political attacks against us, and we'll be able to do what? Get our families together in preparation for what's to come. Okay? Hold on one second. Now, those of our people who don't want to get on board, those of our community that don't want to get on board, it's on them because we're under a purge right now. We're under a purge. If they don't want to get on board under the hedge of Christ and the hedge of the Most High, these Satanists are going to pick them off because they're in your schools. They have your children. Okay? They're pushing all types of evil ideology to get to them, knowing that we're lost, that they cannot get to us anymore. We know better. So they've forgotten about the adults and are focusing on the next servants, our children. Okay? Our children. That's their focus. So anyone that don't want to get on board in this prophetic time, you're going down in the purge. There's no convincing you. If you want to trust and believe what they say, guess what? Sayonara. You'll be out of here in no time. Because the Bible tells us that we can't trust Esau. Sayonara. Right? Let's do it.
Now, like I stated, that was the first sign that Cube may actually be blackballed out of Hollywood. But recently, Ice Cube exposed that Warner Brothers is refusing to give him the rights to the Friday franchise that he created. Now, let's dive deeper into this by reading this article.
Now, look at that. They don't want to give Ice Cube the rights to what he created. The synagogue of Satan believes, the Antichrist believe, that they have rights to all property our people creates. Why? Because according to the prophecies, Israelites would be serving our nations, serving the Gentile nations, including Esau, until Christ deliver us. So according to what they believe under their religion, Ice Cube have no rights to anything he've created. See? You have no rights. You are a servant. See?
From Variety titled, Ice Cube says Warner Brothers won't give him Friday rights and he's not buying them. F no, I'm not paying for my own stuff. Ice Cube wants full control of the Friday film franchise, but he says Warner Bros. Is standing in the way. Appearing on the most recent...
Now, I wonder who are the Warner Brothers? Huh? MGM, Hollywood, MGM, before the 40s, before the 30s, who was MGM? I wonder what religion they practice.
Episode of Mike Tyson's Hot Boxing podcast, Cube urged the studio to give him the rights to the franchise and rejected the possibility of buying the rights from the studio himself.
Now, you see what happens, folks? I need y'all to really examine this. You see what happens when we get the knowledge of ourselves being Israelites. You see what happens? We begin to understand that it isn't good enough for others to take advantage of us. As long as we were taught in the Christian church that we were Gentiles, just to be in their presence and being accepted as Gentiles under Christianity was good enough. If they accepted us, that was good enough, even if they took advantage of us. See? But you see the gift in knowing we're Israel? You go into the Torah, you go into the law and realize we need this law to get our families together, and you cannot get our families together without finances. So now we must take full ownership of our property according to the laws written in the Old Testament. So now you can go back to them and say, well, listen, No, I'm not just happy being accepted by you, eating the crumbs you're flicking from your table. When you know you're an Israelite, you understand the righteous. I don't know if I can use these two words together, but you know what I mean. The righteous entitlement that comes with the title. Because the law that we cleave to, knowing we're Israelite, is what? 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not steal. Now, if you are following the same commandments according to your religion, and I'm an Israelite, we both should see eye to eye on that particular singular law within the 10 Commandments. That's the power, folks, because you begin to take back ownership. You notice there's no race of people trying to stake claim to Africa. Why? Because they know, according to the Bible, and even Christianity or any other religion, there's no promise to Africans. There's no property promised to Africans. That's why they're not staking claim to that. Because why? They can't use a prophetic benefit if they claim to be Africa. If the Bible said that the chosen people were Africans, they would have converted into Africanism, Egyptology, and they would have staked claim to Africa and not Israel or Palestine. They know with that name comes property. And this is what makes this so deep with Ice Cube. He understood that it's not good enough to get a deal or sign a contract to get a piece of what he owned 100%. Okay? No. Now, if anything, if you have the money and I have the talent, we can partner. That's a partnership. But if it's my work, I'm taking the majority share of what came from me, what God blessed me with, not you. And this is what Hollywood and others, the antichrist, fear, brothers and sisters. That now our ownership of Israel is now, that's right, parlaying over into the business world, into the sports world, where now they can no longer deal unfairly. If they were righteous people or good people or follow the law according to their Torah, they would know it's wrong to steal from God's people. And it wasn't until Ice Cube and others started realizing that they were Israelites, because when you go into the Torah, it teaches you proper business practices. Why do you think the people that have been practicing under that religion, why do you think they're so business savvy? Okay, it's not, because they read our law, folks. They understand there's a certain set of rules for how they deal with one another against how they deal with other races of people outside of their religion. They understand that, and it's not unlawful to do so. There's one set of rules for our people so that we can keep the future of our people forever financially stable. And there's a different business dealing for everyone else. And they need to appreciate the fact that we'll do business with them. Well, suppose our people began to think like that and realize that what they're doing came from our book. It came from our forefathers. We're David. We're the prophets. We're the people of Christ. They are antichrist.
Starred in and wrote the 3 Friday movies, all of which were produced and distributed by New Line Cinema. Warner Bros. Now owns New Line, so Ice Cube can't move forward on a 4th Friday movie without the studio's blessing. I don't know. Warner Brothers is weird right now, Cube said when asked about the 4th Friday movie, which is to be titled Last Friday.
You see that, brothers and sisters? Hey, Brother Cube, if you're listening to this, they're going to try to stifle you on purpose. But if I was you, knowing that now that you are a Hebrew Israelite, because guess what? Let me tell you, all of our people will rock with you. Okay? All of our people are behind you. If I was you, now knowing that I'm a Hebrew Israelite, I would call the new franchise Saturday. And change the game altogether, where on Friday you were doing all that stuff that most people, right? That most, that we used to do on Friday night. That's what made Friday such a success, is because we know people go out and just lose their mind on Friday, right? Before we knew the truth of Friday night being the Sabbath, right? So what if it transitioned where there's a story at the end of it that we find the Sabbath from that Friday? And we begin to clean up our neighborhoods. That means you turn this full circle from Friday to Sabbath with that same audience. And that's right, folks. It can be done. And Ice Cube can do it. They want to see us grovel. No. Keep the same concept. That belongs to you. Change the name and do it up and be an inspiration for our people. Show the antichrist that they cannot have us grovel. Yeah, and another thing you do is sue them.
I don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. We'd love to have it back. I think it's going to be close to a time when we get it back. So we'll either wait for that time or we'll keep trying to convince them that they need to let us control the movie. It's my movie, but they have distribution control. When Tyson asked Cube if he would just pay to have the rights back in his control, Cube responded, "I ain't putting up ish for it. F no. They need to give it to me and they're going to make money. I'm not."
Exactly. Why should he have to pay for his own production, his own ideas? I mean, the gall of these devils. That. Now you understand what an antichrist is, folks. These are Edomites doing this.
Not about to pay for my own stuff. That's stupid. They need to do the right thing. Get it to us. Let us turn it into more money and make the fans happy. We can do a lot with it. Cube revealed earlier this year he has written 2 more Friday movies. He said Warner Bros. Rejected both scripts. Now, the 2 sections that I have highlighted in blue tells you all that needs to be said as it.
You know what? If they rejected both scripts, that tells us something. Because you cannot be an Israelite and not have a conscience towards fixing our people, fixing our community. That in of itself tells us that he's not humiliating our people like some of these movies once did when we were in our ignorance. If they rejected the new scripts, it was something in there they didn't want others to see. I'll be interested to know what was in those scripts.
Pertains to Ice Cube being blackballed from Hollywood.
Blackballed.
And I'm going to read those 2 sections again. Ice Cube stated,
I wonder how they came up with that term, blackballed. Black.
and I quote, "They need to give it to me and they're going to make money." Brothers and sisters, that clearly tells you that Warner Brothers' decision to not relinquish the rights of the Friday franchise to Ice Cube has nothing to do with money, but has everything to do with politics. Cube didn't say he wants the rights to the franchise so that he can go independent. He's saying, give me the rights to the franchise so that we can all make money, including Warner Brothers, who would still be the distributor. But clearly, this is about more than money for Warner Brothers. It's about politics. Now let's look at the second highlighted section, where it states, Cube revealed earlier this year he has written 2 more Friday movies.
Now, folks, when it says this is about politics, I'm going to let it roll, but there's some points I need to point out. A few things I need to say while this is rolling, okay? Because it dovetails where I'm going at with the antichrist thing, right?
About politics. Now,
about politics. It's all about politics because we have witches, warlocks, and evildoers in political positions who are passing laws to get rid of God's people, which was prophesied in the Old and New Testament. That at the very end, they would come against our people, the persecution of those who believe in God. So he's against the politics that they're using to destroy our people. And look at what happened running up to Joe Biden's election, folks. And then out of it, pandemic, all of this other stuff that was going on. See, I need y'all to really think about this, folks. Esau is the cunning hunter. So now he's reacting to the awakening now, progressing his political agendas, his financial agendas against us, regentrification, as well as his scientific poisoning against the children of Israel. And I'm going to show y'all this. Leading to the mark of the beast. When the mark of the beast is instituted, they'll be outright deleting people.
Now let's look at the second highlighted section, where it states, Cube revealed earlier this year he has written 2 more Friday movies. He said Warner Brothers rejected both scripts. Ice Cube literally wrote an entire classic franchise within the Friday brand. Any production company with common sense would jump at the opportunity to put into production 2 more Friday films. But once again, this is not about money for Warner Brothers. This is about politics. And you have to remember, Hollywood is a left-leaning town. You will be hard-pressed to find anyone in Hollywood that will ever have anything negative to say about the Democratic Party, let alone Joe Biden. As a matter of fact, they've been spending...
Of course they don't have anything bad to say about the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Liberal Party was created to destroy our people. Is that my opinion? Of course it's not. I was raised in North Philadelphia. And since a little boy, folks, North Philadelphia, 15th and Diamond Streets, there was not one time that our community in North Philadelphia that I can remember was under a Republican mayor. So when I see the total decimation and destruction of our people, that's right. The direct blame for that are the politicians who are entrusted and given the position to guide and help the community. So I have to look at them as the culprits. You can't say, not that I'm down with Republicans either, but I can darn sure tell you that Democrats are filled with a bunch of witches, warlocks, non-believers, demons, everything evil they've attached us to. They knew we were predominantly Christian and believed in God, and did what? They attached, that's right, a right to choose women, a right to choose with our political party. Putting Planned Parenthood in our neighborhoods predominantly, not in their neighborhoods, in our neighborhoods. So that we can be, that's right, morally compromised. They would turn us into antichrist. We wouldn't even have care for our own children, our own babies. They intentionally align that with a Bible-believing people. And then the letter people thing, they attach that to us. from California. They moved these people from California legislation into Washington, D.C. That's right. Then they started pushing legislation for that activity, folks. And then aligned us with it, knowing that the majority of people who practice that, not all, but the majority of people who practice that has a problem with God and the Bible. So what happens if you put these people in political positions where now they're drafting legislation for a predominant Christian community who are black? That's right. If you put Satanists in political positions as Democrats over our community will be in the exact condition we are witnessing right now. These are antichrists in those positions. So they wasn't afraid of Ice Cube in particular when it comes to the rights of the movie. They began to push back or blackball him when he realized he was an Israelite, that they would have to deal with him from the business sense with the knowledge of who he is. And now with that knowledge, he have the knowledge of who they are. See, as long as we're ignorant and happy to get a few dollars and allow them to just take our talent and our money so that their families can be rich, so that their families can have wealth to pass down to their children, folks, it's all right as long as we're that way. But if we're Israelites, we understand the rules of engagement. And that's why I don't want to deal with Ice Cube like that. Okay? Because no longer will we deal with these janky business practices, these antichrist, unethical practices. And we'll also realize, according to the law, that the people we're voting in to benefit us are religiously being Satanist against us. Against us. We have to pull ourselves back from all social activism. We must pull ourselves back from all social activism, because they have their Satanists in position to control all the organizations who are actually the letter people, who are in position, anti-Christ, anti-God, to be incentivized for pushing any agenda that would destroy our people.
All of this year trying to sell you on the war in Ukraine. But when Donald Trump was in office, they were giving him the business openly at every opportunity they got, even at the Academy Awards. So with that, it is very clear to me that Ice Cube has been blackballed from Hollywood, and he's been blackballed on the ground of politics. And with all that being said, that does it for today's video. So please make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe.
When you all get a chance, check out our brothers from TD Hip Hop Media. That brother is plugged in. He's fully aware of what's going on in the earth, and it's good to get, some real political information from a grassroots level. That's right. This generation is waking up. The rap music was originally created to be a source of consciousness, to speak against evil, and to do what? To help get our people together. But the devil came in and incentivized an evil genre that would destroy us internally. Using Ice Cube's talent, using Dr. Dre's talent, Snoop Dogg's talent, but yet they don't want to incentivize us out of this condition. They want to allow this brother to have his own rights to now, as an Israelite, help his own people. Now, Antichrist. These are the Antichrists, right? Living in an Antichrist world. Like I mentioned earlier, for those who missed it, Let me drill past these real quick for those who missed it earlier. An antichrist world is where they'll speak against black men or claiming to be Israelites and try to call it a cult, which is utterly ridiculous. It's our prophetic right. It's no religion. It's who we are as a people. Even our people who are in the Christian church right now, who don't know they're Israelites, who, if their forefathers came off the cargo slave ships, they're Israelites too. They just don't know it. They're ignorant to it. So it's not no religion. It's our people. And they're targeting us as Israelites, whether we're going to accept the title God has given us or not. Esau is still targeting us in fear that you may one day wake up and understand who he is and label him antichrist. So they don't have no problem with this, though. I want to see where the synagogues and the Christian church all get together against this. Virginia Elementary School to host satanic after-school program. The school board says they're legally required to offer the club. After-school program, folks, to make our children, turn our children, and whatever they're doing, folks, make no bones about it. They're going to start off because white people aren't going to allow these nut jobs into their schools. Straight up. I've traveled into the suburbs in different areas, and what they allow in the inner city is not allowed amongst them. And this is why this is why the powers that shouldn't be allow this activity, because they know it's going to be concentrated against our people, and it's going to affect our people, God's people, at the end of it. Okay? Because guess what? The Republican, the red states, and the good old white Republicans, they're waiting for Satanists to come up there and try to teach their children something outside of God. So know when they put these things out there, they're targeting our children. They'll start off claiming that it's white crazy people, and we're like, yeah, that's crazy. And next thing you know, they got us up looking like goth and tatted out of our minds, and we thought it was a white thing. Remember punk rock, folks? Remember punk rock when we used to see Kiss and all the makeup and all that old crazy stuff and white Satanists drinking blood on the stage with tattoos all over them and with black lipstick and crazy looking hair? We grew up thinking that, man, those are white people. They crazy as a mug. And now look at our people. It's us now with tats all over us, doing the same satanic rituals, drug, sex, and rock and roll that we witness only amongst the white rock and rollers. So usually it starts with them to set a precedent, knowing that we'll take it on and do what? That's right. We'll actually sensationalize it and grow it well beyond how they started it. So it'll start with them, but really we're the target. And then they'll get nut jobs like this. They get Satanists like this.
I'm looking for people that smell like weeds.
He's looking for people who smell like weed. Now, if he say it in a churchy voice, most people will laugh and oh, he's preaching. This dude is a devil. He's an antichrist. He's looking for dudes that smell like weed. That doesn't sound manly to me either.
No, really. New Birth is the largest land-owning black church in America. Wow. And so my position to my deacons,
his position to the deacons is to get the community together, to teach the Bible. His message, we are the greatest land-owning church. He's bragging in the country. Is he going to grow food for our people? Is he going to give our people jobs, build houses on this land? We have so much homelessness. We got sisters being put out in record numbers right now in the inner cities. Is he going to build communities and townhouses for our people? The same people he got the money from?
Is why aren't we not raising cannabis?
Why aren't we not raising cannabis? I don't see anyone up in arms about this, folks. What do these Christians have to say about this demon? And guess what? The Democrats and all these other people, they're behind this devil.
I'll be able to bring in black males. They're able to do.
He's able to bring in black males. What type of black males? So instead of teaching black males the truth, okay, that's why there's thousands upon thousands of our people converting into knowing we're Israelites. Without being coaxed into anything, young people, young black men are realizing we're Israel and they come into the knowledge of this Bible. So this is his answer to that. I'll tell you what, if you join our church, that's what he's saying. If you join New Birth, we'll have you grow cannabis.
Do it legally. I'm teaching them farming.
Oh my God.
I'm helping them to enhance the ecosystem. This is the kind of conversation. So if the guy, black boy in Bankhead said, they growing weed at the church, where do I join?
Yeah.
The church, the black church is finished. And I'm still waiting for the apologetics to call stuff like this out. The apologetics are also antichrist, Jesuit antichrist, demons. But they won't call this out because these are the puppets they have in position within our communities, destroying us internally. Antichrist. So let's read this out of the Bible real quick. Speaking of antichrist, what is an antichrist? Well, let's read it. Let's read Antichrist. New Testament. 1 John 2:18. Little children, it is the last time. Let me magnify this. Hold on. Okay, let me magnify this. 1 John 2:18. Little children, it is the last time, and you have heard that Antichrist shall come. Even now are there many antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. Right? Now, to let you know that it'll be people claiming to believe in Christ. They went out from us. So they were initially trusted as Christians. They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us, but they went out that they might be made manifest that they were not of us. Folks, there's many antichrists. Let me type that in real quick. Hold on. The devil have you looking for one person. And the Bible tells us there's many antichrists. Christians aren't taught what to look for. Those who believe in the Bible and God we're not being taught in the Bible who to look for. Stop looking for one man. The antichrists have been operating against us. They're in our political systems. They're over our churches. They're in our hospitals. They're in our doctor's offices. They're in our community programs. And what does that say there? What does that say there? Even now, little children, it is the last time. Even now, there are many antichrists. Any man who would come on to a Bible program and state publicly that he doesn't respect or are against Christ, and all of his people feel the same way, they're telling you outright who they are, folks. And it's the same. It's Esau's agenda to destroy his brother Jacob using politics and false religion, and using any false teacher or one of authority who has an air of authority to be utilized to destroy us, like that stepping fetching pastor we've just seen, who said with all the land that they have acquired more than any other church in America, that instead of housing the homeless like Christ would, instead of growing food in the midst of a famine, that he want to use this particular land that he has, that he gotten through Christians sending money. He don't want to use it to help the homeless like Christ would. Get a contract and actually build housing for the homeless and the needy and the orphans and the widows. No, he's going to use Christ's money to grow cannabis. Many antichrists. Now, let's go into the science part of it now. Because you can't have antichrist without understanding how the antichrist spirit would use science to destroy our people. Let's get it. One second. I'm at 1 Timothy 6 and 20. 6 and 20 in the Bible. O Timothy, Paul wrote letters, and here it is. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, and avoid profane and vain babblings, and oppositions of science falsely so called, which some professing have erred concerning the faith. Grace be with thee. So the apostles warned us, right, of the ills and the diabolical plans the devil would use under the guise of science. So if the scientists say it, it must be so. Well, the Bible tells us not to trust scientists, folks, especially when they have a history of experimenting or harming our people. Now, why am I going here, right? Why am I going here? We just went to the UK, we all know, to bury our brother Dwayne, and to also fellowship and break bread with the saints over in the UK. And it so happened at the hotel, this particular paper they had downstairs, and I thought I would read a paper. You know, everyone is still reading we all still use the computers primarily for, our reading. But I wanted to go back and let me see what they saying in the papers today. And there was some interesting things from this particular circulation that caught my attention, right? Some of their tabloids. This isn't a tabloid. This is an actual newspaper that they give the majority of the that you can see in the lobby of most of these hotels. UK playing with fire after the jabs U-turn, warned scientists. Now I'm not going to go into the whole thing right quick, but I'm gonna go down here real quick. Now they go the devils right there. You got to watch them, right? All right, I'm sorry about that. One moment. I didn't have any sound. Let me fix that. I got it. Sorry. I know you rock. I have it now. I have it. I have it now. I'm good. Yeah. Thank you, Rock. All right. This is what I want to show you all in particular, folks, from this woman. Well, I want to make sure I use the right pronouns here. This particular paper, right? And I'm going to read right here, right? These are the ministers and those that were over the program that came out in 2022 during the pandemic. Check out what it says in the paper, right? Speaking of their science, she added that while she had initially thought the problem was a lack of experience of officials, I'm beginning to think that this is deliberate government policy not to invest and not to support the sector. She cited the sale of the VAC Manufacturing and Innovation Center to U.S. company Catalent, which has since announced that it will not be putting expenditures in until 2024. Cobra, listen to this, folks. Cobra Biologics, a key part of the early scale for the vax manufacturing, has been acquired by the American pharmaceutical firm Charles River. It has since announced that manufacturing it being moved to the U.S. But what really got my eye opening, knowing that this is an antichrist world, what really opened my eyes to a lot of this, brothers and sisters, is when I seen Cobra Biologics. Cobra is a venomous snake. Cobra is a venomous snake. What does this have to do with what they did in 2020? Who is Cobra Biologics? And what is this science that's connected to Cobra? When the Bible tells us about the serpent or the great serpent in Revelation, the 12th chapter, who would come after our people. So what I did, I looked up Cobra Biologics. You know what I do. You know how I do. The Most High wanted me to see this paper. I didn't go looking for this. I was in the UK. Went downstairs, got me a nice tea or whatever, and grabbed the paper and said, let me read through this. And I wondered, what is Cobra Biologics? Well, Cobra Biologics developing an industrial biologics manufacturing platform, and it's gene therapy. Gene therapy. Development of an industrial manufacturing platform for adeno-associated virus, AVV, production. Gene therapy is a rapidly growing therapeutic area, with AAV being one of the main platforms being developed for commercializations. The production of well-characterized, high-quality AVV vectors is critical for the success of gene therapy. This will be achieved by developing platform AAV manufacturing process that are robust and scalable. The project addresses the key barriers for facing routine production of AVV by focusing on the development of scalable platform process, the project of two parties. So this is gene therapy. Gene therapy, folks. What's going on here? 10 billion by 2025. how is this science going to affect us? And what does this have to do with Antichrist, one might ask? Well, brothers and sisters, this is where the plot thickens. This is where the plot thickens. U.S. Patent 6754472B1, a patent. This is where the plot thickens. Patent US 6754472B1. Microsoft Technology. Here's the inventors. Microsoft is attached to Bill Gates. Worldwide applications. Microsoft 2004 to 27, all the way up. See the patents? And it expire a lifetime. So it's going to always exist, right? But what is this patent, folks? A method and apparatus for transmitting power and data using the human body. Connecting the Bible, making the body a conductor like a computer. Methods and apparatus for distributing power and data to devices coupled to the human body are described. So now we're looking at Bill Gates on both sides of this, right? Microsoft, and now he's pushing something else, right? As we can see. But really, like I said, during that whole 2020 campaign, could they be prepping the body for something else? Well, this is no conspiracy theory, folks. You can find the patent online yourself. The human body is used as a conductive medium, a bus over which power and data is distributed. Power is distributed by coupling a power source to the human body via a first set of electrodes. One or more devices to be powered. Peripheral devices are also coupled to the human body via additional sets of electrodes. The devices may speaker, display, watch, keyboard, a pulse DC signal or AC signal. Of different frequencies, different devices can be selectively powered. Digital data and other information signals. Audio signals can be modulated on the power signal using frequency or amplitude modulation techniques. Attaching people to the computer grid. But of course, you cannot do this unless you prep the body first. So the antichrist system would target the body as well as the brain to make people what? Human conductives into the systems for computers. Now, if you think this is wild, because the Bible breaks this all down. Cobra, the serpent, coming after the people. A matter of fact, let me show you this in the book of Revelation. Let me show you this in the book of Revelation. I have Esau up. Let me grab this real quick. Revelation 12. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. Speaking of our people. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. And we know this represents Rome, who sits on 7 mountains. They will be the people utilized by Satan to come against the children of Israel who are in exile. When you go down to the 9th verse, it says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, there go your cobra, called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. So you can't trust Satan's science. He would deceive us into getting something against God that would actually have us people utilized for Satan's purpose on earth, being connected to the beast. But first they had to do what? Prep the body, attack the neural senses, and disconnect us from our God. Hence, liberalism. And it tell you what the dragon would do. And when the dragon saw that he was cast to the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. They began to persecute the people who were from the direct lineage of whom they call Jesus Christ. And the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she is nourished for a time and a half a time from the face of the serpent. So the Edomites would be using science, cobra, to come after God's people. And the serpent cast out his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away from the flood, inundating us with information, distractions, false religion, liberalism, evil, only with the full intent of destroying us all off, according to the prophecies written in the book of Revelation. Cobra, prepping the bodies, a grievous sore, that and more is in the book of Revelation. Targeted what? They're looking to get the whole world under this, folks, but it's to do what? Rally the world at the very end against us. Now, if you think that's interesting, and I noticed that 5 out of 8 people in the UK are under some level of antidepressants. Almost 50% of Americans are on antidepressants. And one of the main antidepressants that we know about is what? Lithium. It's the same thing that Kanye West was complaining concerning his so-called trainer that was from Canada, who threatened to put him on lithium. Well, folks, do you know lithium is the batteries that runs computers? Do you know that? So not only are they prepping our bodies for something, right? Usually when you put something in the body, metals, it begins to disrupt your neural senses or your mind. So you may come out and think you're bipolar, whatever, whoever the case might be, but then they'll prescribe lithium or whatever the case is, right? So now all the components, the liquid components of computers, are in the systems of people. Oh, now let's check out lithium real quick. Lithium ion battery. See that? All your computers, your phones, everything has that. A lithium or Li-ion battery is a type of rechargeable battery which uses the reversible reduction of lithium ions. But what happens if you begin to put this type of metal and small microbes, parts per million, in the body? So what I did was I looked up lithium side effects. And this is from the NHS, okay? A reputable place you would go for medicine. What are the side effects of lithium? Let's read some of those, right? Let me get it real quick. Side effects. Matter of fact, let me type it in one moment. Side effects of lithium. Let's get some, if we may. One moment. Okay, I'm not trying to get a whole white paper here on it. One moment. Now, here's a few. Lithium side effects. Feeling sick, nausea, diarrhea, a dry mouth, a metallic taste, metal in the mouth. Feeling thirsty, needing to drink, right? Slight shaking of the hands, feeling tired or sleepy, weight gain. Folks, this is an antidepressant, right? Now, there's even worse effects. I need y'all to check this out. I need you all to check this out here. 1 second. Now, this is also from a reputable source, right? Dehydration, heart and blood vessel disease, all these things here. Muscle weakness, physical condition. Also, folks, another side effect sometimes, and that's why they tell you to come back to your doctor and ask if you need a different dose, because another side effect out there is what? Suicidal thoughts. Suicidal thoughts. This is all science, right? Lithium. It's affecting the body because the metals are affecting your brain. Confusion is kicking in. Obviously, sometimes, if you're not on this stuff, it aids when you try to get off and on it. It aids to your diagnosis, being scattered all over the place. But folks, there's an answer. Cobra has an answer for you. That's right. They had the metals are in the body now. They got all the people all prepped with the metals in there. And now they're going to drop the hammer with the last piece of science, which is what? The mark of the beast, where you must have something injected in you that will fuse all of that together in your body. And now you are inseminated into the Borg. You're now controlled from an outside source, a beast source. The serpent is in your conscience now. And no one will be able to buy or sell unless they have the mark of the beast. And it so happened the antichrist are the people pushing this, folks. And the Bible tells us we are not to believe them, because Esau is what? What is Esau? Who is Esau? Let me show you. Let me show you who is Esau. Of course, I'm going into this in full detail to prove to you. We're going to show you exactly how the so-called quote-unquote white man came from Eastern Europe, from the Wesson family, and turned their names into the British family, knowing that the original British family was black. It was the Wessex family from Germany who actually came into England to take our positions and throne of England. But I digress. Who is Esau? Make sure you're in the academy to get that breakdown, okay, to get that lesson. It's a 2-hour lesson, none like it on the earth. We have found the invisible man, and his name is Esau. Go to historytimes.org. Get in that academy, folks. All right, so who is Esau here? Okay, let's go to Genesis 25. Genesis 25 tells us Esau is a cunning hunter. Let's go down here. Let's go down here. Is a cunning hunter. Genesis 25, and it says in 27, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. So our father Jacob, you know what? We would chill. We're not going to be all out there in the woods, hiding behind trees. They would put deer pee on them so that they could disguise themselves as a female deer. Jacob can't think of doing something like that. And, you know, and we don't roll like that. Okay? But it tells us that Esau is the cunning hunter. So who is Esau hunting right now? He's hunting Jacob. You just can't see it. You're trusting Esau. He's hunting you. You cannot trust their science because why? That's right. The hunter, the last thing that the prey sees is what? Hold on. Hold up, REI. I'll deal with that later. Oh, someone says I'm muted on Blog Talk. I'm sorry about that. I'm using so many different pages right now. Okay, let me turn to Blog Talk real quick. Da-da-da. If you're on Blog Talk, don't worry about it. I'm going to pull it up in a second, okay? Just wait. It says right here, Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents, but Esau is who? The cunning hunter. Esau, hold on. Esau, brothers and sisters, is the cunning hunter. You cannot trust Esau. You won't see him coming. You will not see him come. He's the invisible man. He's the Wizard of Oz, but yet his attacks are constant. And when you recognize his attacks, he'll hide behind victim. But Paul says that man of sin shall be revealed. The Jesuits came up with a 500-page commentary in the late 1500s to have us believe that all of these things they created must come to pass before Christ returns. They made it up, that one man will be proclaimed the antichrist and call himself God on earth, make a pact with the Jews and Christians, and set a temple over in Israel. The Jesuits from the Catholic Church created that theory. That's nowhere in the Bible, folks. That's nowhere in the Bible. So that they can, so that we will believe that there's one man who would come up like a Hitler as an antichrist, opposed to looking at a system of Edomites who have conspired. One second. Hey, Gaja, make sure you turn me off in the back or put headphones on. Who have conspired with the Gentiles to destroy our people. An impressionable, and I'm going to say, unfortunately, an ignorant people that don't even realize we were born under attack. And they attack us scientifically and otherwise, from the cradle to the grave, and it never stopped, folks. They're the cunning hunter. You cannot trust them and believe in God and Christ too. Hold on, let me, hey, Gaja, let me call you right back. I'm going to call into Blog Talk. Hey, Gaj, I'm going to call you right back. Let me call in the blog talk real quick. You hear me?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes. Let me call in the blog talk, and I'm going to call you right back, okay?
Sure.
All right. I'm going to tie it all in, folks.
Welcome to Blog. Show, we are reconnecting you now. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Okay, I'm live on Blog Talk. Hold 1 second while I get Gaja in. So now they've prepped the bodies. The bodies are now prepped to receive the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast would be the cashless currency that they're going to roll out, implement where it's necessary to get this to be able to travel or buy and sell. It's been prophesied. This will happen, folks. And guess what? Once that thing is in you, it all clicks in. You don't got to worry about your mental health and all that. You're now controlled within the systems of this world, just like an android, just like a robot. There won't be no pushback on agreeing whether or not you're going to serve and do whatever the government tells you to do. You'll be programmed to do exactly what they tell you to do without any pushback, because you'll be a soulless person. Hey, Gaja, you calling something?
No.
Just like a robot. Okay. Why am I hearing myself through Blog Talk? Oh.
No.
Okay. Okay, I'm good. All right. I think, that's why. Remarch is called in. So last but not least, folks, once you got the stuff up in you, 5 out of 8 people are on antidepressants in the UK. 50% of the people in America on antidepressants don't realize that you got metals running all through your body. And now the technology is not the computer in front of you or the phone. The whole plan the whole time was to make you part of the computer, to be utilized as a what? As a perpetual slave with no hope or drive towards God, only to live in this earth under Satan as a as a servant, with no hope or ambition. That's right. It's the mark of the beast. They're prepping the bodies for the mark of the beast. That's right. I just showed it. Living in an antichrist world, and folks, stop waiting for some one man to pop up. The antichrist is evident. We had one on my broadcast the other week. He outright denied and showed a public vitriol or hatred towards Christ. What you waiting for one man to pop up for? There will be no temple built. There will be no antichrist or some Messiah. That was all some garbage they came up with, folks. They're not waiting for none of that. They're setting the stage where all of the Gentiles will now come against the children of Israel here and throughout the earth, in Africa and other parts of the earth. That's why they repositioning the people in the earth right now. We've been under an antichrist system. And it's time to do what? Come back to the law and get ourselves together, because that's the key. That's the key component in understanding we're Israel. Know we under attack. do not trust their systems anymore, and outright get our families together. Because by doing so and following the law, hence, what? Automatic protection from the heavens against the adversary. It's sin that gives them access to destroy us. It's sin. But without the sin component, we are protected. You might not see the hedge, but the hedge exists. Before I bring Godger in, let me say, and I got the people on calls, and I'm going to go through real quick. Let me say this. I know I made light of a situation where the brother called in. I know some people wondered why AC put that clip up where I made a few jokes and all that, a McDowell comparison, right? Even though it was a serious matter. But I wanted to make light of something in the midst of us during a sad moment, right? And I wanted to put smiles on people's faces because it was very somber and all of that during that time, during the bulk of the time over in England. Okay? I didn't do that to mock the brother or shame the brother, but I wanted to show the brother something that called in and didn't call in good faith. You don't come into someone else's program without proper etiquette and let us know beforehand you're looking to promote a different sect of an Israelite group or channel. See, that's not proper etiquette. And it's time that we do what? We bring standards back when it comes to how men interact with one another. The other nations don't interact like that. The proper thing to do, brother, anybody out there who have something that they want to promote, I'm the first person that will back and promote anything our brothers and sisters are doing. But when someone come and they say something as if everything is good, and then they promote something separate, I see that as deceptive. That's not good business practices, and we have to get out of that. That's not how the children of Israel are supposed to operate. That's like one brother would call somebody, suppose I call up in the IUIC or UPK, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm down, man. We all Israelites and all that. And in the midst of that, I say, yeah, I got a web page. Come to my web page. And see, and that's why I put that out there, because only our people operate like that. Something is already moving. Why not get on what's moving already instead of trying to take from what's in place? So yes, I made light of it, not to really express really the disappointment I see in brothers who should know better in this time. That's why I made light of it, because we're in the midst of a sad moment over there in the UK, but also to stop me from coming at a brother who straight disrespected, calling in a line to peddle their page. We have to get off of that. We have to start having standard and upstanding business practices where we call each other in a respectful manner if we would like to operate in someone else's house. Okay? Now I'm going to make light of something again. You're not going to be the Dave Chappelle example of Rick James coming in Eddie Murphy's house, soiling his sofa. Straight up.
Oh my goodness.
You can't do that. It's disrespectful. And it's time for us to, as we know that we're Israelites, it's time to move this thing to the next level of respect and honor and dignity that comes with the title. Because how do I know what you're teaching is correct according to Christ's doctrine? Who are you? And what makes you think you can come into someone else that the Most High had us build with blood, sweat, and tears all over the earth so you can peddle something to try to siphon things off of a work that's already moving? That mentality doesn't work anymore. So I made light of it, but I wanted to explain it because that clip doesn't explain how it really should have been dealt with. And I paused him because he would say something to cut me off from actually correcting that behavior. He knew he was intentional what he was doing. If you're going to peddle something, you do what? Or if you got something constructive to add, you should have came in the door with that. Elder, all due respect, I do have a page. Do you mind me putting this out there? And I would have to say, brother, let's speak offline so I can make sure that it's in line with what the Bible purports. And then you will come on. And matter of fact, if it's constructive, something better or something that we can build on, I'll bring you on and introduce what you have. But you're not going to do it sideways. Okay? You're not going to be, you know, and see, I'm from North Philadelphia, folks, and there's normal people and regular people. And then there's the guy around the corner on top of a cardboard box with a 3-card Monty. Okay? Okay? Yeah, find the queen. Where you want the queen? Where you want the queen? Yeah, do you want the queen? Where the red. Right around the corner. Oh, you see the ball? Yeah, the cap and the ball. You see the ball? Where is that? We can see when you're coming like that. You come up front with the purpose of the call. Not what? Not flattering with your tongue initially and then sideways, here's by the way, and then try to put it out there real quick. That's deceit. All right? And guess what? Like I showed, antichrist isn't just Esau. All right, Elder Rawchaa. Let me give a round of applause here.
Am I coming in clearly?
You're fine. Talk to me.
I'm here, man. I'm here. I was just thinking about that clip. And you know something, Elder, right? And just to put it out there for everybody to know, if you're new to the channel or whatever, we don't have a problem with hosting other people on this platform. But it has to be done with decency and in order. You understand?
Yeah.
And as a church, as elders of a church, our leaders in a church, we have a responsibility for the people as well, that we can't allow anything to be put out for them to receive it like that. We don't know. We don't know. You know, we don't know who this guy is. We don't know what his ministry is all about. And you know, putting it out there could be dangerous. So even on that regard alone, we did the right thing by cutting it off immediately.
And Rawchaa, here's the thing: how do I know it's something that could be adverse against the church?
You don't know. We have no idea what it is.
I'm saying, but how do I know it is?
The way he's approaching it.
No, because if it wasn't, why couldn't you do that with us? There must be something with us that have stimulated your engagement that you've learned here to be able to start something there. But that lets us know there's something else to why you rather do your own than join what's already in place. There must be a reason, because we have brothers and sisters with all types of talents and ideas and all that, but they're coming in to utilize that so that the whole body can utilize that at once. They're not looking at what we're saying and saying, here's my page. So there must be something he disagree with. And if he wouldn't cut me off, I would have got to the bottom of that. Like, brother, you're peddling a site, but obviously you disagree with something here if you can't join what we have here. If it's Israelite, we know we're Israelites and believe in Christ. Is there something different that you disagree with to why you would have to start your own thing? And if so, that's good too. But if you don't come straight forward with your intentions, it's a serpentine vibration. We have to be men now. You have to come up front with your intentions. But go ahead, Rawchaa. What you have to say?
Man, just listening, man. That part on Ice Cube for me was interesting. You understand? Very, very interesting on that, to say the least. That they're going through this much effort right now to silence him and not give him what's his, all because of his refusal now, as it would seem, not to portray Israel or his people in a particular light, and nobody's talking about that. You with me? So if you're anti-Semitic or you're anti, you're anti a certain people if you stand up for your own, which is, wow, look at that.
Say that again.
No, I'm saying it's an amazing thing when now someone is anti another people when you decide to stand up for your own people.
Exactly.
Like,
now they
don't
seeking
make
to
no sense.
cancel you and everything else now.
Yeah, you're canceling him because he's saying he's not down with what you're doing with your exploitation anymore. You understand? When you watch the interviews, the earlier interviews and that movie that he wrote, nobody thought it would make any money. He paid for it out his pocket. It and barbershop also, he paid for them out of his pocket, and it made the people, it made a lot of money.
Box
So if they're
office smashes. Box office smashes. And you know what? He got that support from the grassroots. But go on.
yeah, so now it's a sure winner. It's a rocket. It must sell. So why you not doing it? You're stifling it. And I mean, it's good for the world to see. A few years ago, Elder, I did a broadcast on Peace FM, right? And it was going into the stats of how many universities were made after the abolition of slavery up until the civil rights movement, right? So from the abolition of slavery up until the civil rights movement, 98 black universities were made. I did this in 2014, so I don't know if the numbers have changed after post 2014. 98 black universities were made from the abolition of slavery up until the civil rights movement. From the civil rights movement up until 2014, there were 9 universities made, somewhere in that ballpark, right? And we were saying that, listen, entertainment, education, sports, the children of Israel have been the like you put it, the gladiators in these arenas for the past 200 years.
Yeah.
You understand me? And if only know, if they can now harness that same Colosseum might for their own, then these other people that are gonna have to come correct in how they want to do business with us going forward.
Let me tell you, they would very well, like I said before, tear down the whole system. They would rather tear down the whole system, Gaja, than work fairly in good faith with our people. They would rather tear the system down. If they cannot utilize and destroy us and have us as servants for them and their children, they would better off. They would very well just destroy the system altogether. And that's what I'm seeing. Because I'm gonna tell you, they know this. The fix for our community is here. The truth of us being Israel can turn the consciousness of our people from evil to righteousness overnight, and they know it. They know it. It has little to do with them and more to do with us fixing a community they claim they care about. And they speak with a forked tongue. When they say underprivileged and the marginalized, they love those terms because why? It was them who made us that way. And what we're saying is we're no longer victims. You don't play your victim. You don't put out your victim card when someone is pointing to your wrong. And we won't put out our victim card. Let's put down anti-Semitism. Let's put down bullying. Let's put down the guilt of slavery too. And let's put just the facts on the table. We want to be protected. We want to be protected by from your propaganda, your science, and all you have done to destroy us since we were battling in the womb with you, brother Esau. They use these terms to hide behind so that the people are actually victimized and get away under the muck of conversation and distraction. So now, instead of us talking about what's going on real time in the earth, I got to talk about how you feel about what I'm saying. No more that that's one of those Houdini acts they put out there. No sooner as they're being held to task concerning their ill against us, now they got to do name calling now. It's a tactic. They got their foot on your neck, and then you say, get your foot off my neck. Hold up, you're anti. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let me just put 5 of my toes on your neck for a little bit, because you're anti. Before I just nail down. That's what they do, folks. They vain victim. And they try to make up lies and all that, when really only thing we want to do is get our people together. That's what God has commanded us to do. And they turn it into some cult or some anti-white stuff. It's not anti-white at all. It's pro-Israel. Isn't that what y'all say, Gaja? Didn't they tell the Christians out there and all that they should support Israel? Well, now we know we're Israelites. Why can't those same sentiments be promoted through your media for us? So those are the conversations I would like to have. Let's put down the name calling on either side and say, since we're promoting support Israel, when do some of the positives of supporting Israel swings our way? Or do you feel we aren't entitled to that? And if so, say it. Because all I know is, Gaja, the 10 Commandments is if we promoted the 10 Commandments in our communities, that would be a good start.
Life would change.
Yeah. The civil laws, families would stay together. And if there was a judgment for shame and immorality, we would change overnight.
Overnight, literally overnight. And they know that. I mean, just even what happening now with a lot of celebrities, a lot of high profile people coming out and claiming the Israel. That's a big problem right now.
Yeah.
You with me? Big problem, because we are no longer falling that victim then now of saying, okay, then we're African or we're Israelites. And as according to the Bible, according to being an Israelite, we have to operate in a certain way. That should be good for everybody, shouldn't it? Or you want us to continually perpetuate being drug dealers, being thugs, terrorists, whatever the bucket you can put us under, you want us to keep doing that, apart from claiming or staking our claim back to God, as it says in Sirach 2, saying that we are the children of God. So, I mean, Wisdom of Solomon too, that we are the children of the Most High. They don't want that. That's a problem. That's a big deal. And then now we come into the switch conversation of a distraction, talking about you're anti this, or you don't think what was that? What did Houdini? Rosenberg say? You keep saying you're the real one. Nobody said that. Nobody made that claim about you not being Israel or whatever. We're saying that, but we are the people. So yeah. What's the stir?
It's like this though. I don't want to hear that stuff saying I don't have to say I'm the real one. Right? The bottom line is the prophecy says that our people in this condition is clearly the children of God. Because why? It said that our people would go into captivity under all nations. And nowhere in the Bible does it say at the very end, before Christ returns, that his people, the children of Israel, who were scattered throughout the diaspora, would be in position to rule the world or cancel anyone. Israelites would be on the bottom. They wouldn't be heads of businesses to be able to cancel other races of people. So, I mean, let's just deal with the Bible for a second. I don't have to say I'm real. Our condition shows exactly who we are. That's the sign that we are from the lost tribes of Israel. Just our condition in of itself in the ghetto proves the prophecies of the Bible true. And now the same people who destroyed us, which are the Roman Empire, only thing the Romans who killed the prophets, killed the disciples, crucified Christ. Now, only thing they have to do is convert to that religion and now be accepted as a people. When they killed Christ, when Vespasian and Titus came against Jerusalem, that's history, folks. So it's Vespasian and Titus today. If they were living today, the two who are responsible, Roman emperors who are responsible for killing Israelites and destroying the church, killing Christ, scattering the children of Israel, if they were living today, they could go through a 3-year program and convert into Judaism. And now be recognized as a European body under that religion. And if I was to tell them, listen, shouldn't we look at what you did to our people during crisis time? They look at me and say, you can't say that. That's anti-Semitic.
Crazy.
It's crazy. On one hand, you destroyed us in 70 AD, and the only thing you have to do is change your religion, and automatically that changes the history you've done against God's people. So, but they can no longer hide now. So now it's gloves off. Esau saying, okay, I'm no longer the invisible man, Jacob. Welcome to the fight. If you fall victim to me, it's on you. You know who you are. You know who I am. If you follow what I'm saying, guess what? Shame on you, because Esau isn't letting up. You can follow him and trust him if you want. Because Esau isn't changing. He's doubling down. And the only thing he's saying is, well, okay, same as Pharaoh. Romans 9 tell you that Esau is the modern day Pharaoh. And what did Pharaoh say when we began to push back? He says, okay, I'm not going to let you go. A matter of fact, I'm going to make your labor harder. Instead of building brick with mud and straw, I'm taking away straw, and you still better produce the same bricks. That's all Esau going to do. He's going to double down. He's going to harden his heart until Christ come and break a black foot off in him. As is written in Isaiah 63. He's going to double down. He refused to let us go. He's going to feign victim every time, even though he's in position to actually void off any existential threat that can happen to him. He's no victim. Okay, that's a tactic. That's a war tactic. And the example I used, Gaja, was earlier in the movie Die Hard. I love that movie. I don't know if you heard that analogy I gave.
No, I didn't.
In Die Hard, you had a top brain that was behind that whole reconnaissance that came in and took over a big industrial building. I mean, a business building there, right? And they were able to. They knew all the people in the house, in the building, was able to get control through the computers, all the elevators, tie people up. And he was the brain of everything. A cold killer. Then you have Bruce Willis. The unassuming guy, right, who's taking everything down and cannot die. But no sooner as the bad guy ran into Bruce Willis, he didn't tell him, listen, I'm here to kill you, and I'm the guy that's behind this whole takedown of this building. No sooner as he see Bruce Willis, he came in like he was a victim. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah, he's a crazy man. Oh, can I get a cigarette? And he's the mastermind behind taking down the whole darn building. And now for an instance, to get favor with the enemy he's seeking to destroy, he plays victim. Let me tell you, folks, that's a hunter's tactic. That's Esau's tactic, folks. He rules everything. How to Hades can he be a victim? Oh, I know how one can become a victim. Even though your forefathers have destroyed other people and killed off other people, and you by default rule, if one of your sons and daughters of the Rockefellers who are filthy rich, if you become gay, automatically you are absolved from all the evil that came through the bloodline of your forefathers because you're the new victim now. So I can't point to you and say, well, hold up, your hands is in my pocket. Or you'll say, you go to name calling again, you'll say, I'm phobic. They've made these victim titles to absolve themselves of all they have done against God's people. Knowing that if they name call, automatically it's a Jedi mind trick that most people back up like, oh, I don't want to be called that. Call us anything you want. We're tired of this crap. We need to get to the bottom of it and stop having them use these magic words to change the game and change the conversation so that they can admit their fault of not just what they've done in the past, what they continue to do to us and our children and our people. Let's answer a few calls. You had anything to say, Gotcha?
No, man, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Okay, before you go, of course, Sizzler. Give us a story, the backdrop behind Sizzler, who sent his sentiments, for the family in the UK.
Okay. Sizzler. I've known him for a few years now. His manager was a good friend of mine, family friend, and I know him, on a music basis. But a few years ago, he came out to the Jamaican public and told everybody he knew was an Israelite, and he told them to go and look it up, study it, and stop using the internet. Use the internet whilst they can get the information for free. So when he did that, I actually went and reached out to him, went to his complex, and so when about 2018, 2019, and we've been linking up since then. And he's seeing what was going on within the UK, asked me what's up, and I told him, a brother died, man, and that song that he sang at the end of the video, it's a song that they always play. And he goes, yo, I'm gonna do a tribute for him. And he wasn't able to do it before the funeral. He was sick for a couple of days, but he said to me, yo, listen, I'm gonna get it done. So he was in I think Barbados when he did that video in the hotel room, if you notice. Well, that's really how it came about,
Well, let me play it real quick so the brothers and sisters can see it. Brother Sizzler.
Palala Shadia. This is Sizzler Kalonji, and I'm reaching out to all my Hebrew Israelite family. Hebrew Israelite Mashapaka. Glory and honor to the Holy One of Israel, the great I am that I am, Hayaha, Ashar, Hayaha, Bahasham, Yahashaha, Wa, Kadash, Rawak. Condolences to the family of the Hebrew Israelite brother, what I'm saying? The family of the Bishop Dwayne, the Hebrew Israelite world, I lost a great soldier for truth and of the most thing. This is Sister Kalonji sending my condolences to the family, okay? Oh yes, you got to be strong and be all the best you can. The world is out there, conquer your fear, and don't you wait too long. This is Sizzler Kalonji, and I'm reaching out to all my Hebrew Israelite family.
That's right.
Hebrew Israelite Mashapaka. Glory and honor to the Holy One of Israel, the great I am that I am, Hayaha, Ashar, Hayaha, Bahasham, Yahashaha, Wa, Kadash, Rawak. Condolences to the family of the Hebrew Israelite brother, what I'm saying? The family of the Bishop Dwayne, the Hebrew Israelite world, I lost a great soldier for truth and of the most thing. This is Sister Kalonji sending my condolences to the family, okay? Oh yes, you got to be strong and be all the best you can. The world is out there, conquer your fear, and don't you wait too long. Yes, you got to be strong and be all the best you can. The world is out there, conquer your fear. Bless, Barak, Kal, Bar, Yat, Mashapaka, Palala Shadia, Ahab. Praise the Most High. Sizzler Kalonji.
Gotcha. That's what they fear, man. Our people coming together. The 12 tribes of Israel, according to prophecy, are no longer, we're no longer in the grave, brother. The Most High is gathering us together. He's bringing us back to who we were, who we are. The true kings and princes and princesses of this earth. And
when you go, when you go into his community, right?
Yeah.
he's building a museum in his community, and it's Hebrew Israelite Museum, and he's teaching the people in Hebrew. He has the alphabet, everything, and he's going in. You with me? He's going in right in the ghettos of Augustown right now. And then if anybody, if you don't know, Augustown is torn with crime and all that, and he's one of them that advocating, you know, for the youth them to put the guns down and come back to God. Now, you know, everybody know him as a Rastafarian. He's a Rastafarian. His parents are Rastafarians, brought up like that, but he's seeing the truth.
Yes.
And
yes,
you know, we have differences, obviously, but you know, when we sit down, we build on the things that we agree on.
Yeah.
And it's no argument, it's no confrontation, there's no nothing. You with me?
Yeah.
And that's how we've been able to maintain like a friendship over these past, you know, these years. You understand me? You know, when I'm in town, I go around, I buy his place, I go check him. You know, he's been out to where I am, and we're just building on that as Israelites. You understand, knowing that we've been lied to, and we want the best for our people. So yeah, man. So you know, enough love to Sizzler.
Well, I tell you what, when I come to Jamaica and we hit those streets, I definitely want to meet him. So we'll talk. All right.
Definitely. Man.
Okay.
Definitely.
We have Brother Andre with a comment, 757. And I'm coming back for Patreon this Friday, so be ready, folks. I have something big in store for this coming Friday Patreon. And for the Academy, historytimes.org, tracing the serpent seed. Is it true that before the white man went into Europe, he mixed his seed with Satan's seed? Not all. But there's a few particular families that lead directly to the royal family of England that has Nephilim, Canaanite blood, and I can prove it. For the first time, that's right, we're going to show you the graph, the chart of when the bloodline of the fallen ones linked to Mount Seir, and when Esau had daughters. I mean, when Esau went into Mount Seir after he lost the blessings and the promise, he had children with the Nephilim seed, the serpent's seed. I'm going to start from Genesis with the serpent, bring you past the flood to the giants, and show you Esau, that's right, getting satanically loose, okay? Unlawful, inordinate sexual behavior with beings. That's coming. You don't want to miss that. And I'm going to do that with tracing the serpent seed. Andre. Shalom. Where's Andre?
Shalom, Elder. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing all right. And let me turn it up so they can hear you. Say something again.
Yes, sir. Shalom, Elder. It's a blessing to be on the broadcast. I apologize. I had to get to a quiet area. Man, I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. It's always profound, and I think what's so interesting about the two takes that you brought forth. You showed the perspective of how the enemy will always, when they get caught slipping, they default to victim, play on our heartstrings, and then we default to allowing them to abuse us again. But I think it's interesting how you showed the fact that the current biggest opposition to Israelites is the Black Christian church that I see mostly.
Yeah.
And from this Black Christian church, you have bishops saying out of their mouth that we're so desperate for men in our church, we're going to accept these men full of sin. And not just accept the sin, we're going to perpetuate the sin by helping them grow the marijuana as long as it's legal.
Subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. All social media links will be pinned in the comment section below.
I think what's so interesting about that, I'm sorry, what you say, Elder?
I'm sorry about that. Something went off, but go on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I think what's so interesting about that point is when did our people just give up the moral high ground? And I think that's the biggest issue. They get upset when Israelites are bringing these points out, when we're saying, look, we have to take back the moral high ground. We did not used to think this way. We wasn't of this democratic political stance. We wasn't okay with our nephews, our cousins, and our sons selling drugs as long as they was putting money in the offering plate. that was not us. So when did we take the low moral high ground? And then we get upset when, like for example, Sister Candace Owens. I'm not saying everything she's doing is right, but we get upset when you have certain people coming out in the community stepping up with these conservative Christian views, but that used to be us. That was us in the 60s. So I just think it's interesting how you brought out both perspectives, how you showed that our people just perpetually want to take that low moral ground. We just don't know morals anymore. And then you have the Jewish person playing victim. I'm not going to, we live on air. Excuse me. You have that person playing victim, taking the moral high ground every time. And that's the only point I wanted to make. It's interesting. The psychology behind it is very interesting.
Oh, yeah. And you were saying, thank you, Brother Andre, before I put you on hold, I know exactly when we began to lose the moral the moral high ground. Right after Martin Luther King and Malcolm and Martin Luther King was killed.
Malcolm X died. I agree. Then they replaced that with people like
so-called Reverend Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. And then they started pushing. They was doing black exploitation movies and started sensationalizing the worst of our community instead of highlighting the businessmen, the lawyer workers, the righteous family, Superfly, and all this other stuff they started pushing. Okay, and then after that, what really did it? What really did it? When you look at the Moorhan report, is when they made it where they would destroy the family by giving women housing, and make it where if men were around, if they would penalize the woman if she had a man around. Right? Say, I'll give you welfare and all that if you give up your man. Because by default, we'll have your children. And then after that, really, the hammer that crushed it all, the last shoe to drop was when crack came into the neighborhoods. Because I don't know. Listen, hey, Christians and Muslims came together. I don't care what your Christian or Muslim belief was. They came together to cash in on an opportunity to get rich. I know Christians who became drug lords. Straight up. Straight up. So the whole deal is when they did that, it was a total compromise. Okay, it was a total compromise. The mama was go to church and give the pastor extra money to pray for the sons that were out there. That's when it was really over. That was the last shoe to drop. That crack decimated us. And while crack went on, what happened? Bill Clinton set up NAFTA, which would have all the jobs that we were benefiting from a service standpoint, be outsourced to India and other races of people. Totally taking the financial bottom off of our people, the financial security off of our people, giving it to the same Indians and all that. Now we're seeing the benefits of them with other people, taking the money from our people who have actually built the country and incentivizing China and East India and all these other areas with telemarketing jobs and all that our people were making good money with. Right up under our nose, Bill Clinton, the so-called first black president, got rid of all the jobs that were sustaining us. That's right. While we were looking one way. Oh, Arkansas Willie. Slick Willie.
Arkansas.
And by the time we looked up, it was over. And then last but not least, they totally decimated the Christian churches with the mega churches. Everyone wants to be a part of the crowd. Okay, so you had these presenters, motivational speaking at that time. I remember the whole transition where your preachers were no longer preachers, but motivational speakers. And they took all the people of all those that had some level of resources and intelligence out of the Christian church so that they can be added to the mega church. Because if you had any status, you wanted to go where the money was. And at that point, the black Christian church was finished. So it was a slow progress.
And you said it all, Elder, because I'm sorry, Elder. I was saying you said it all because it's Mark 8:38. what does it profit a man to gain his whole world and lose his soul? And if we would have kept the moral high ground and realized that it wouldn't have profited us anything, because what can a man give in exchange for his soul? We would have never been in this position. But like you said, this was prophecy. So we can't fight against prophecy. We really can do the Lord's work now. But the way you just outlined it, I'm going to ask AC to clip that up.
All right. Well, that's how it happened, brother. And they couldn't do it all at once. We're strong people. They had to systematically break us down one piece at a time. But you know what? Yes, they underestimated the power of our God. Doesn't matter what they systematically try to do.
Yes, sir.
The awakening is undoing the curse. We're the Israelites and we're back and we're not going anywhere. It's our world next. Thank you, my brother.
Wisdom. Bless you, Elder.
All right, bless you. I'll see you this Friday. All right, Debbie has a comment and question. Comment and question, Debbie.
Shalom, elders. Barakatah.
Shalom. How are you? How are you, Debbie?
Shalom.
I'm doing well here in North Carolina. I have a comment and a question. The comment is that I have the man that did What is a Woman, Matt Walsh. I looked at What is a Woman, and it made a lot of sense. He hit a lot of points. He did great interviews. He did a blog, and I was listening to him a little bit because he was talking about the letter situation. And then he said something in regards to critical race theory.
Yeah.
And he said everybody knows that 80% of all inventions were invented by white people. And so what I realized then was that Esau they may hit points that they don't want in their neighborhoods and they don't want in their schools. But when it comes to us, their parent-child relationship with us is cracking, and they will make blatant statements that has no facts behind it in order to keep convincing us that we are not those people. The question I have for you is, what is your take on the critical race theory, and have you heard of it? And is that a way of them trying to hijack our awakening in teaching our kids?
Yes. Critical race theory could be the most damning ideology that has ever ever been presented to our children as to date. Straight out. It's really erasing all of the history so that our children will grow up believing that nothing really happened to us. So what they'll do is they say all the bad and racist and white supremacy. If the word white supremacy was a bad thing, the white man wouldn't allow us to use it so loosely. They want that out there so that now they can say, well, let's take all the white supremacy, that bad stuff that make you feel bad, out of the annals of history, so that your children don't know exactly what happened to you. So then there's no more victims. That sounds good, but no more history of us realizing who the enemy is. So no, critical race theory is a bunch of garbage. And you should make sure, every parent should make sure that their children are not allowed to experience it or be up under any level of that type of ideology. It's destructive. Now, when it comes to Walsh, yeah, that was poignant what he said when it comes to critical race theory. But those people, a lot of them are straight. Some of them are confused, or they believe their own liars or lies. Okay, the majority of inventions in this country happened through our people, where the slave masters would patent it. We all knew that. The cotton gin and all the other things we discovered. You mean Benjamin Franklin? Oh, he discovered electricity with a kite and a key. When we a kite, key, and a string. Are you crazy? And we had electricity in Africa before Ben Franklin. So the whole deal is they always have some delusions of grandeur for themselves. They would lie to themselves and say, yeah, it's proven. We have the science that, of course, we have the highest IQ of all people. I mean, let me tell you, they're a bunch of liars. They believe their own lies. So yes, it is true when he and Ben Shapiro too. So let me tell you, they make good points, okay, and arguments, conservative arguments, right? But when it comes to rallying for their tribe, they're lockstep in their delusions of grandeur. So I don't care the percentages they put out there. Well, 80% of the inventions are made by us. No. And guess what? I'll tell you what. Based on what we're seeing in the music industry, if time would go by, they would have the future, the people in the future believe that they are behind rock and roll and all the music we created here, because that's what they do through time. They look to erase us and say, man, this guy, this king of rock and roll changed the world. That's what they'll be saying 100 years from now, that Elvis was the one that created rock and roll. So really, you can't believe anything they say. St. John 8:44 tells you when they speak of a lie, they speak of their own, and they have delusions of grandeur. That's why they wanted Christ dead. Okay? They're straight liars. They'll tell you the truth on one side, but when it comes to their little tribal tropes they be doing to actually uplift themselves about everyone else, about themselves, to show that they're above everyone else, then they're lockstep with the lies, claiming that they're better than everyone else. No. We're the people. We're the former of all things. And guess what? The only things they have is what they have stolen from us. Starting with the gold they took out of the temple when they sacked Jerusalem to build what we call the Vatican today. And yes, the Vatican also, since we're talking about the serpent, was built out of the serpent people. Okay? The Vatican means a serpent cathedral. All right? And I'm going to show that. I showed it in the academy, but I'm going to show it. Anything else? You good? Let me get to the next call, okay? Deb?
That's it. Thank you so much. I appreciate your feedback.
Thank you. Yeah, don't believe them. They straight liars. All right, next call.
All
right, bless you. Let me put Deb on hold. We have Godfrey. Godfrey has a comment.
Shalom, Elder. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm blessed by the best, and his name is Ahaya. Talk to me.
My name is Godfrey. I am honored to be speaking with you. I met a brother named Travis some time ago, and Travis would always talk about you.
Okay.
And I'm a tour guide in Charleston. And because of the work I do, whenever people come from off to our city and talk about history, we always look with what we call a side eye, Gala Geechee. So I do Gala tours, and when Travis was telling me about this school, every time I would try to challenge him, he would say, the brother is speaking wisdom. So I had to check you out.
Praise the Most High.
I was blown away. Oh my goodness, because Charleston, my city, is the #1 city in the world for history. But Charleston was only created to sell slaves.
I just came back, brother. I just came back from Charleston. Hello?
You was in?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
You was in Charleston?
3 weeks ago, I was there. We had a big thing there, the church there. Yes.
We have over 1,000 certified tour guides. 4 of us are black. Over 1,000. #1 in the world.
Okay,
More
because
churches than Rome.
Oh, I know why Travis had you call me.
100 slave ships.
Because I so happened to have gone on a tour with someone else that I guess Travis had the background of. I didn't know the brother personally, but he did a great job.
He's a legend.
Huh?
Yeah, he's a legend.
I mean, the
He's
guy
a legend.
knows.
The guy you took a tour with is a legend in the city.
Yeah, he knows South Carolina like the back of his hand. But we have to talk. But go on.
Yeah, #1 city in the world. So over 1,000 certified tour guides. 4 of us are black. #1 in the world. 4 of us are black.
Okay.
So Gala is. So we Gala people. The secret, the reason why there's no black tour guides, is because the slaves, all of the records, are here. All of the secrets are here.
Yeah.
The ships that came in, Charleston was the city that wrote the laws. So Gala, the secret is, Gala is a Hebrew word for redemption. Gala is Hebrew for redemption in Christ. our king.
Yeah.
Yeah. We say, boy, look at y'all, boy. Look at y'all. That's Yahweh. That's God. Look at God. Look at me. Galagichi. We know who we are.
Yeah.
But Charleston makes sure that nobody knows. So only white people come here.
Yeah, I seen it.
Hardly ever do blacks come, but we were the number one city now. But the secret now, so to hear you with all of this power, I've never ever felt like this before. On the first question that I ask on every tour is, what's our nationality? Nobody can answer.
Look at that.
But now, people are starting to say, one out of every 13 tours, one person, I'm an Israelite.
Look at that.
The awakening has begun.
So you're hearing it now.
The awakening has begun. Only created.
Our people are saying it out there just naturally without you even trying. People are saying, I'm an Israelite without you even mentioning it now.
That's right.
Look at that.
That's right. For the first time. Number one city in the world for selling, breaking and selling. We got slave auction blocks everywhere.
I seen them.
Hanging trees.
Brother,
everywhere.
Listen. Let me tell you.
The door.
I cannot hold my, you can't walk through that place and not just get, not just sorry. I mean, just sad, excuse me, but angry.
Mm-hmm.
Because it seems that they keep things there as a reminder to celebrate the conquering over Judah. It's like more so. I mean, yeah.
Right. Exactly right.
They keep it there just enough to remind the world of how they conquered the children of Israel. I mean, I seen graves that was totally desecrated and disrespected with no tombs. I mean, brother, right. I'm going to take your number down because we're going to have a broadcast all together strictly on this. Let me take down your number. Hold on.
Thank you.
Go ahead. You can have the last word, Godfrey.
The last word. Dylan Roof came into Mother Emanuel Church, the first free black church in the South. Emmanuel is a Hebrew name.
Yep, I
seen it. They're talking about Denmark Vesey. That church, the Denmark Vesey was teaching that we were Israelites, so they killed 36 blacks. In the front of the church, Charleston is on the 33rd parallel, though, where the seed of the dragon, all over Charleston, they show you the dragon, the red dragon from Revelations 12. All of the symbols are here, the holy city, and they buried those 36 blacks for Mother Emanuel. In the front of the church, there's a giant building called the Gilliard Auditorium. When they tore it down in 2013, they found 36 bodies under the building. 2013. Thank you, my brother, for doing what you do. I'm so honored to be connected with such a powerful organization connected to the Most High. Thank God for you guys. Thank you so much.
Well, brother, thank the Most High for you.
Travis,
and hey, brother,
right.
listen to me, brother. I need you to hear this. This is not an organization. What we're doing is for you and a part of you. This is the body of Christ, who through his prophecies has awakened the children of Israel to come back to the original promise. So what I'm doing is hey, it belongs to you, brother. There's a spot for all of us.
It's massive.
Brother, listen, so it's not an organization more so than the body, and you are welcomed. All right, you are welcomed.
Sir.
All right, I'm going to make sure I call you.
Forgive me, I stand corrected.
Okay, all right,
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, my brother. I'm going to place you on hold. Look at that there. And since we're talking about serpents, guys, I so happen to have this up here. Let me pull up that browser real quick again. See, because listen, the Christian church, the Catholics are not hiding who they are anymore. This is the audience auditorium at the Vatican, where the Pope speaks to the audience. And when you look at the screen, they intentionally, folks, intentionally designed the audience room like the head of a snake.
What?
You can't, they're not even hiding no more. They can't even hide who they are anymore. Cobra, Satan. Look at it. Listen, that's the auditorium. That's the audience auditorium where the Vatican speaks to that the Pope speaks to the audience. It's the audience auditorium. They're not even hiding it anymore. They're straight Satanists.
90 seconds.
90 seconds before the call concludes. They're not even hiding it anymore. And guess what? They are in cahoots with the same people that are over here calling themselves, whoever they want to call themselves. They colonized America. America was colonized by the same serpents, Rome. And out of that comes what you see in the Middle East right now that came out of World War II. Another colony out of Rome. That's all it is.
60 seconds.
You never seen that, huh, Gaja? Your volume went out.
I've never seen that before.
They're not hiding it, man. That's why I stay away from their venom. The Bible tell you that at the very end, the darkness shall come from the river Euphrates, and they'll begin to sting mankind. Now, the modern day sting is coming through modern day medicine, quote unquote. So I avoid all stings at all costs. Straight up. Give it to your family. The serpent's venom. And because of the serpent's venom that's out there, I have a full broadcast to break down what's going on. People are dropping like flies. I'm going to be talking about that this coming Friday on Patreon. You don't want to miss it. And if you don't believe me, go to Google and type in sudden deaths and see how many options you get when it says sudden death. People are just dying for nothing with no cause, all ages for no apparent reason. I wonder why. Be there Friday. And that's also prophetic. And those bodies who's able to withstand the gene therapy is being primed for the next stage of their satanic science evolution to be utilized through the mark of the beast. This coming Friday. Dawada in the house. Shalom.
Shalom, Elder. Shalom. This is a very, very multifaceted conversation. So what I originally was going to say just completely switched. But what I've noticed, kind of talking about, what they're doing to Kanye West is that recently I was watching a video about Dave Chappelle and how Dave Chappelle had been awarded like $500 million off the Chappelle Show, and how they decided they only wanted to give him 10%. And when he decided that he was going to contact his fans about it, it no longer served any purpose. So they tried to say that he was out, smoking crack and doing all this crazy stuff and went crazy. And this whole situation with Kanye and the whole lithium and him trying to give him psychotropic meds because he decided to break the barrier. And he's this guy's very, very intelligent because what he's doing is, I think, very, very wise. He's getting all these people to cancel contracts so that he can release himself from all these contracts that serve him no purpose. But I found out that whenever our people stop serving a purpose, we are considered to be reprobate. We're considered to be drug addicts, like they did with DMX when he was going back and forth to jail because he decided that he wanted to, drift off from, whatever it is that they were trying to make him promote. And I noticed that if we're not promoting, women on stage, doing all this crazy stuff with money and guns and drugs and violence, we no longer serve a purpose. Like the brother had said initially, when did we lose that moral high ground? And to me, it's funny because, I work in a, customer service centered kind of business. And a woman walked in Sunday and, we got to talking and she's wearing a mask. She's pretty much wearing a hazmat suit, and so she was just coming in from church, and she's like, "Oh, there's something very special about your spirit." And I was like, "Oh, I appreciate that." And we started talking, and I tried to explain to her who she was, and she said, "Baby, it doesn't matter to me because when you cut me, we all bleed the same." I said, "That may be true, but genetically, we're not all connected." I said, "You and I may be connected, but we're not all connected." And I find myself kind of like, I feel like I lose IQ when I talk to certain people, because like I always have my fishing hook out. I'm always trying to talk to somebody because of the type of business that I'm in.
Okay.
But I noticed that, like, I feel like the IQ for people has diminished because people they don't want to have intellectual conversations anymore. And so for me, I just find myself trying to be a little bit more introvert and kind of like reserved. Like, so my job's throwing a Christmas party, and they automatically knew that I wasn't going. They didn't even ask me if I was going to go because they know that I'm not going to show up to it. And so I just find myself trying to be reserved and just trying to let my light shine amongst like the wolves around me. So I'm trying to just be that sheep. But I noticed that, whenever we're put in a situation to have to, kind of explain ourselves to other people, nobody wants to understand it until the truth is put in front of them. And then the truth is like fact check. Nope, this is wrong, because they don't understand what they can't understand, if that makes sense.
Well, it does make sense, but our people have to get over this thing of these cliches and these sound bites, because it sounds good. Well, when we cut, when we no matter what color we are, when we cut, we bleed the same. Well, guess what? After the genotherapy that they're doing, since people have gotten this stuff, that cliche cannot be used either. Not anymore. Because the genetics have been changed in certain people. All right? So the whole deal is, like, sister, I can understand you say when we all bleed, when we cut, we all bleed red. But guess what? People will be bleeding something else soon with these changing of bloodlines when it comes to the genotherapy that's going on right now. On top of that, well, guess what? Even though we bleed the same, I don't know. I didn't hear anything about some white people or Chinese people going through a Tuskegee experiment. Right? They've been experimenting on us since off the ships. They had to donate some. Believe it or not, folks, this is gruesome, and I have the book right here. Scientists and doctors were buying slaves to actually experiment on them. That's right, folks. If there were slaves that were sick and still halfway living or couldn't get a good price on the auction block, they were brought by scientists and doctors who would experiment to practice the new medicines or the future of medicines on slaves. That's not, and guess what, folks? Right. That's not hyperbole. That's not conspiracy. They had the right to. Man, woman, and children. I have the book right behind me. Okay? So don't give me that crap anymore. No matter what color we all bleed the same. Wake up out of your cognitive dissonance and understand that if you think we're the same, guess what? That's your problem. You are exactly where Esau wants you. Because he know we're not the same. Okay? Life tells us we're not the same. Okay? And on top of that, the cunning hunter would love to make you believe he's no different than you. So that's the cognitive dissonance. If we believe all things are relative and there's not really no absolute evil or absolute good, then guess what? We're responsible for absolutely nothing when it comes to changing the conditions of this world. So by making, when you make statements like that, these are people who don't want to be responsible for anything. Okay?
Right.
But then they're looking up. When you look up, hey, I'm gonna leave that there because I want to keep the channel. But brother, last statement.
Yeah, all praise. Last statement. So it's funny because I feel like the conversation wouldn't have happened. So she said cut. She bleeds the same. We bleed the same. That's fine. But I guarantee you that wouldn't have come out of her mouth had my pants been sagging. Had I had a big old hat on my head over my eyes, she wouldn't have had that same commentary, she probably wouldn't even want to talk to me, although she was walking around with this whole, this Christian persona about her. She wouldn't have had the same conversation with me had I not looked the way that I looked and presented myself and articulated myself in the way that I presented myself.
Well, thank you, brother. I'm going to go to the next call, but great call. Thank you, my brother. And guess what? She's
Yes,
a
sir.
Christian, and guess what? She's probably a nice person. But folks, Christians, black, white, doesn't matter what your color, you're being hunted if you believe in Christ. And if they can't get you, they're after your children. They're sending these witches and these evildoers into your schools. And they will turn your children. So Christians, keep in mind, you are under attack, whether you want to accept it or not. It doesn't matter what color you are. If you believe in Christ, you are a threat to the powers that be. All right. Only got a few more, Elder. Now I'm going to let you have the last word. 470 area code. Kayam.
Shalom, Elder.
Shalom. Floor is yours.
Yes, Elder. It's like what the last brother was saying. I think the issue with speaking with people that may be Christians is that once you start speaking the Bible, that's when they get into the, everybody is everybody and love is love. But if you just talk to them and don't mention the Bible, they will probably, come out and speak ill of Esau before we will, But what I wanted to say, Elder, I walked into the store the other day, and you can actually being in this awakening and having Christ doctrine through our church and through our great elders and teachers, you can actually see the spirit on. You can just see people like the walking dead, like the Bible says. They have no idea of what's ahead. So when Yeshua was he looked at his people and he wept. It's like what we're seeing now. It's like we got to be strong. We want to shed tears. I think most of us have shed our tears already. As far as thinking about people, but it's now it's to the point where we have to be strong and endure to the end. I remember one time Elder Lawya, he read Psalms 44, 2 through 7. I'm sorry, 2 through 8, and that resonated so deep that we're not going to be able to fight without bow. We're going to have to fight together, and that's why I stress that everybody get into this academy. If we don't realize that the energy that when we come together, it builds to the heavens, and we must come together and be on one accord and have as many around each other and praising the Father, so we can direct, so we can have this protection around us. So right now it's just me and my son, Elder, and I got to a car accident the other day, so I'm gonna be real quick. My head be kind of hurt sometimes, but I just want everybody to realize that we must come together as one. And band together and take time out to read Psalms 44, 2 through 8, and realize that we have to stand as one and unite as one. And thank you so much, Elder, for taking my call.
Thank you, brother. Bless you and your son. Bless you. And while we at it, man, I hate to say this. When you speak to Christians and it's about, listen, I was raised a Christian. And the reason why I'm so hard and come at them like this is because they lie to themselves and they continue to lie to others they speak to that call themselves Christians. You can't be a Christian or believe in Christ without true action against the evildoers on earth. There's a reason why Christ was persecuted. The disciples were persecuted. And you have too many Christians who acquiesce or just operate to get along. That's not a true Christian according to God. You are a fighter. So when people say to follow Christ and the Christians say that and try to claim it's all love, it's about love, they're liars. How do you know that? This is how you know they're liars. The population in the United States, Christianity is the most prevalent religion in the United States. Estimates from 2021 suggest that the entire U.S. population, which is 332 million people, about 33% is Christian. 210 million Christians in America. Even let's just talk about one segment when it comes to questionable sexual alternate sexual behavior when it comes to same sex and all that. There's a hard stance as far as the Bible is concerned when it comes to that. Okay? Husband, wife, bring forth children. That's not my opinion. That's the Bible perspective. And if you're talking about 210 million Christians, talking about God is love, how is it that only less than 7% of the population gets more credit, political protection, and finances as a minority over any other people on the within America? If the Christians really believe in Christ, we wouldn't see these families separated like this. Because why? It's against the principles we claim or the values we claim to uphold according to Christ. We be lying when we claim Christ is love. The Christians out there, they be straight lying. Because the Satanists are running roughshod over Christians without any pushback. They're in your schools, over your children. You don't set values and a precedent on who's in your schools, on what they can say to your children. You're being bullied by a small minority based on their sexual preference. So don't come with this crap, Christ is love, and I'm a Christian, it's all about love, and the Satanists are running circles around you. 210 million? There's no way we should be hearing all this alternative lifestyle and all this other stuff amongst us in our populations in America or in the churches. It's a bold-faced lie. The numbers bear out that what? If it's 210 million Christians in America and the Satanists are bringing forth all their agendas without pushback, you know what that means? As far as America is concerned, you Christians, Satan has won. Because you have no pushback. You see what's going on and you have nothing to say. Would Christ be silent in a prophetic time such as this? Oh, we can't judge. God loves everybody. And Satan is like, yeah, we love everybody. Let me in your home. I'm taking your child. Jesus is love. Because you won't take a stand. Oh, yeah, my daughter's going through transition and you just came from church. What transition? She's coming to Christ? Oh no, she's really a little boy in a woman's body and girl's body. That's what she want to be. And God loves us all, regardless of our choices. That's the deluded mind that Christians have today, to accept anything and get run over roughshod by Satanists. 2 more calls. Carlos and 951. Carlos, shalom.
Shalom, Elder. God bless you for everything that you're hitting it on the nail. I agree with everything. I got the number. I saw the number to call. So I just had a couple of questions. But man, there's so much stuff that what you're saying is true. I'm a house shaking street preacher. We go out there on the front lines and we engage. We go to the pride festivals. We go to the abortion clinic, wherever sin is.
Good. We
go out there. But my question to you, Elder, is I want to know, like you said about all the Christians, why in the heck, and this is where it gets me like Ezekiel, to fire up my bones, not to shut up, but to stir things up, fire up my bones right there. I get angry, but the Bible says be angry, but sin not. Why isn't the churches, why is only just a few remnant going after and letting these drag queens go after the children? And I'll tell you why, and what I'm thinking, because the Bible says, if you harm a child, even Jesus told the apostles, suffer not, let the little children come unto me. Let them come unto me, right? And if you hurt a child, it's better
for you that you get a rope and you tie it and you drown yourself, right? But none of the Christians, pastors, that right now, all the pastors starting on 2000, when this COVID, when Kobe passed away and this whole COVID thing shut down, it seemed like everything just lost the momentum of the fire to go out there and preach. Thus saith the Lord, you're not going to harm these kids. Why aren't they? The church is not defending the children. Why aren't they speaking out? Why are they dumbing down? I left the church, and I'm glad for the Israelites, the black Israelites, because they're out there front line. I see them on the streets. I see people on the streets preaching, but it's not enough. And like you said, did Satan really win? Are we on the tares of the wheat? Why is it dumbing down? Is it antichrist stepping in? I was taught fight, and if we don't have a voice like John in the wilderness, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Can you elaborate what I'm saying, Bishop, Elder?
Well, what's going on, brother, is there's no true Christians according to the Bible. You know, in our modern times, it's more so recreational than it is a belief in God and Christ. It's a place to go. It's a social gathering. Because why?
Okay.
One thing all of us can agree on who reads the Bible, there was no such thing as a Christian who was a coward.
No.
Okay? There's no such thing.
No.
And don't forget, can you imagine Christ getting backed down by the gay community? Or can you imagine Christ getting backed down by the Jewish community? You think Christ would back down? He was contending.
No.
And he was contending. Listen, he was contending, and he was debating and showing the flaws in Pharisaical religion. So Christ didn't back down. So the whole thing is, in the reality, Christianity today is no different than the pagan temples of Rome. It's just to uphold the traditions and a place to go, and also to be programmed under patriotism to follow Caesar and to fear government. See, but if you know that know that Christ is bringing the government to come, you will speak against evil regardless of the threats that comes with it. So that's the whole thing. We don't have, don't forget, Matthew 24 told us the first sign before he showed anything. Christ says, many shall come in my name and say, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. The many is Christians. Because Christians, and I said this in the academy Sunday, Christians have 1 billion denominations, and they can't even come together under the same Christ they claim to believe in. And you don't realize that what you believe in is supposed to, your core beliefs and values is supposed to reflect what? The political landscape. And it should transfer to where you live. The political landscape and everything should be dictated off of what? Christian values. If 210 million people are Christians in America, unless they really aren't the Christians. That's where Satan crept in when we left, when we were taken from Rome. I mean, when we were taken from Jerusalem by the Roman Empire, 70 AD, that was the end of real Christianity as Christ established it. And it wasn't until our current time, what you see on those streets and what you see here, this is the true awakening, bringing back the ministry that was lost. Because what? Christ is about to return. He's coming.
That's right.
And folks, we're at 2022 right now. Let me see. 8. Let's see. 6. Man, we have about, based on the Enoch calendar, man, we got about 5 years before the whole earth is under an electronic grid where no person can be on earth without being recognized. And then after that, we're going to have about 3 years from there to get into the wilderness, So this is where we are.
Wow.
So Christians are defeated already. They're dropping like flies because they believed the campaign that happened in 2020. Satan don't even have to. Let me tell you, Satan don't even have to fend against Christians in this earth today. He can just tell them, well, be afraid of something and come get it, and have them lay down and just have them drop like flies with no opposition. There's no Christians like it was during Christ's time. These people are pagans, and they fear. And another thing about a true Christian, a Christian doesn't walk in this earth with fear. Why? Because it's Satan, through the fear of death, have put the earth under subjection. And this is why the media is always purporting and promoting news to fit bad news to scare people. It's a tactic. It's a tactic. Everything is wrong. The disease. This, oh man, put a pink ribbon on. Oh, the kids are suffering. Oh, tidal wave. They want people. They want Christians to believe that God doesn't exist, number one, and also they want it to be fearful of death in of itself. That puts us in what? A subservient posture. But like, no, I don't. Hey, I don't care. Listen, no, a real Christian would say, I don't fear death because what? Death is temporal. Christ resurrected. He's not that man you have on the cross. He lives. That's number one. Number two, I don't care about the elements and what's going on, because Christ, through the power of the Holy Spirit, he walked on water and controlled the elements. So you can't scare me there either.
That's right. That's right.
You have too many Christians today, brother, who are just flat out. Either they're ignorant, and those who do understand, who are doing nothing, are straight cowards. That's all I can say on that.
Wow. And Revelations talks about cowards, right? In the book of Revelations?
Yeah.
It talks about cowards, liars.
Yeah. And it's a shame. It's a shame.
Wow.
Because the church of Satan and everything is set up now because why? There's no Christian opposition. People are just trying to keep their jobs.
No.
I'm working all day. I don't care. Listen,
I think
the bottom line is schools is no different than what? High-tech babysitters so that we can go and work. So we don't really care about the programming and the destructive ideology that's being taught to our children. Because right now, our people are just trying to survive. But no, it's time for you to get engaged, or you're going to lose anyway. It's time for Christians to stand up through the Holy Spirit and fight spiritually. Satan isn't going to let down, and the Satanists are in your schools, they're in your hospitals, they're everywhere. And guess what? They put a boatload of these East Indians from another country, that's right, into your doctor's offices and all of that. I never thought I would see the time where I'm looking around and saying, listen, give me a white doctor. Who are these people? Folks, we're under attack. Well, I'm going to leave it there, brother. I'm going to call you on another time. I have your number here, all right?
Okay, God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bless you, Carlos. And keep that trumpet sounding, all right? All right.
Amen. You too. You too.
My brother. Last call, 951 area code. Shalom.
Hello?
Last call for this evening.
Hello?
Hello, brother. Hello.
Hello?
I'm going to give you a little time. Can you hear me, my brother?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. The floor is yours.
I just have one question. In the Bible, it says where God changed Jacob's name to Israel, but I can't find in the Bible where he turned the children of Israel to Jews. Can you show me in the Bible? Can you go to the Bible where God changed the Israelites into Jews?
You're not going to find that in the Bible.
So it's a man-made construct?
Is that what you're saying? Is that you want? You have a statement?
That's the question. So is the term Jew?
No, brother, listen. You have a statement. Obviously, you believe, based on how you're framing this, that the word Jews isn't related to Israelites. Am I assessing
No,
that
I know
correctly?
it's. No, you're not. 'Cause I'm just trying to find where God changed the Israelites into Jews.
I understand, but obviously there's a what? There's a point to that question. Do you think that Israelites can be Jews too, or no?
I do. I believe they're called Jews also.
Okay, well
I'm just trying to
okay,
find.
yeah,
where-
I'm gonna give you some understanding then. I'm gonna give you some understanding. It's really a term that was placed on I don't know if you were in the academy, but we did the split between Israel and Judah and showed around 718 BC. Around 718, no, around 724 BC. No, 721 BC. That's the date. 721 BC, there was a split between the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Okay. You had the priests who were Levi and Benjamin the warriors, along with Judah, go into Judea. Later on down the line, when the Greeks came into play, those Israelites, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, there was like a term that was placed on those who lived in Judea, a slang term of Jews, those who belong to Judea. Even though they didn't show a distinction between the three, you would have to know where they were to make the distinction. Judah is here, Benjamin is here, Levi is there. Now, also you had a conversion during Hyrcanus where you had Edomites who are white people. Okay. During the 2nd century, they converted from the Edomite pagan worships of Satan to stay in the land and became what? Converted Jews. And that's where the term became popular among the Gentiles who converted into Jews. But you have instances where Israelites are called Jews. You have instances where Israelites are called Jews. And in the Bible, it says, that's why Paul says to the Jews first and also the Gentiles. Those Jews in Romans 2 that Paul is talking about are the Jews that were in the southern kingdom by the time Christ came on the scene. Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. So really, it's a blanket term for those who are in Judea. Okay?
Okay. Thank you very much, man.
You're welcome.
Never can get anyone to explain it to me.
Yeah, because it's not that simple. A lot of people have that question because in the Josephus, it says that these white people who converted were called none other than Jews. And some people believe that, okay, the term Jews only belonged to the white converts. That's where white people actually began to be called Jews. Okay, they're converts. There's no such thing as Edomites or European who come from the natural bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's an impossibility. They're Edomites. Okay, and another thing, there's no place to say that Israelites would be in the land of Israel at the very end. Nowhere in the Bible. Okay. A matter of fact, it tells us that Jerusalem will be taken down by the Romans to Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Well, the times of the Gentiles aren't fulfilled yet, which means the Gentiles are still in the land of Israel today, while we are suffering in exile. When is the time fulfilled? Will be fulfilled when Christ returns. So I'm not one who would say that white people who have converted into Judaism, I'm not one to say that they aren't Jews. I can't say that because those that converted during Hyrcanus, okay, were labeled Jews by the Maccabees. So it was good enough for the Levites to call them Jews. It was good enough for me to say it. But there's a distinction between those who converted through religion and those who are bloodline Israelites. And that's the difference between us and the white people who are dealing with the religion of Judaism. It's quite that simple. We're not Israelites based on religion. We're Israelites based on what? Our bloodline, and we can prove it. You got it?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, my brother. Are you in the academy?
No, I'm not in the academy.
All right, brother. You
What
probably.
academy is? I just happen to.
Oh, we have
just happen to find you guys online.
Okay, hey, brother, I'm glad you're here. When you go to historytimes.org, we have a 3-month academy with so much information that, hey, everything you want to know and more is within that 3 months. Believe me, you have very little questions after going through that academy. And a matter of fact, we started. We're at the beginning of it. So if you get in, we'll give you last week, which is the beginning, the creation of the universe. Just have your Bible and a pen and paper in front of you. Follow us for 3 months, and guess what? You have very little questions after that. All right? Not that I mind the questions.
Okay.
I'm open for that. Thank you, brother. And
All right, so when is this going to start?
It's every Sunday beginning at 9 a.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
It already started, but we're in the second week. But if you enroll, I'll make sure you get everything you need that you missed from the last week's academy, from Sunday's academy. All right? historytimes.org. There's nothing like it in the earth. All right?
Historytime.org.
History Times with an S. historytimes.org.
Okay. History Time.
Okay, you got it, sir?
Okay, thank you. I got it.
Okay, welcome.
I got it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, brother. You have a great night.
You do the same.
All right, that concludes our broadcast, and we'll pick it right up on Patreon this Friday. And we're going to go into outright, and we're going to name this Invasion of the Body Snatchers. People are getting snatched. Okay? Invasions of the body snatchers. People are just dying for no apparent reason. If you want to know what's really going on, I'll see you on Patreon this coming Friday. Patreon.com/AGathering144. Come and enroll there. Get yourself a Patreon account. I mean, it's only, $5 a month. That's nothing at all right there. And get in on that's right. We have a full review on a documentary proving to you that those who didn't listen 2 years ago, that's right, are in danger. That's all I can say on this channel. With that, in danger. That's all I can say. Thank you, Elder Rawchaa, and thank you, elders. Let me go to Rawchaa.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Elder, you hear me?
Yes, hold on. Let me get you in the frame since I closed that. Your video is yeah. I end up speaking to Blaine. He tell you?
No, I haven't spoken with him. No.
Oh yeah, I had a very, very good conversation with him. Very good conversation. He's doing a lot better now. He's doing good. But
yeah, he went by the grave today, man. And
he told me.
Yeah,
I said, listen, maybe the Most High, maybe it's something you had to go through, but you need to call somebody before you're doing things like that right now. You got to give it time. But we had a very good conversation, very good. And and I just want to make sure we continue to lift his family up in prayer. His daughters, his wife, who's widowed right now, but like the church was there through listen, like the mother said, she says, listen, she didn't have to mortgage her home. She'd have to do nothing. The church took care of this is what a church is about. Right? And that's our brother,
Right.
And it's amazing that even through all of this, people that were at the funeral are now coming to the church. He's even prophesying in his absence, being utilized for the gospel. So, like I told the brother, listen, he's alive. He's within the body of Christ. And that's why Paul said, listen, sorrow not like others who have no hope. For if we believe that Christ died and rose again, we must know that he's going to, the people that we love who have passed, who Christ took for himself, will return with him. Okay, when that big shout happened, guess what? He's going to be glorified and finished in full strength before we're changed. And I said, brother, don't worry about it. Let's work so that when it happens, and I say, listen, I'll put anything on this. I'll tell you, you and your brother will be standing side by side again in this final war against evil. Let's get it.
Definitely.
But
Man.
listen, but it still doesn't take away the sting of missing our loved ones.
The sting, the pain, the shock, everything, you know.
I'm gonna tell you, man, but that's a natural emotion. But eventually, it turns into the emotion switches to something else. It's a certain level of admiration and respect. Like for years, when my father passed, I couldn't even say his name without breaking down. Couldn't. But then when I was able to finally mourn and get it out, all my memories is not how I seen him laying down at the end. It's all he instilled in me that led me to where I am through the Spirit of the Most High. And that's all I can remember, all those good times. And I smile because he lives through me. See, but that's really a transition we must get through. The mourning and then the respect factor. And now when I think of my father, I don't think of him as dead. He's in me. And I think about all the good times that me and my brother talk about it. But, you know, it still doesn't change the initial shock and pain that comes with missing our loved ones. But I thank the Most High for this truth because it gives us access to a time in which death have no power. Death came as a curse. And through doing this work, let me tell you, doing this work and prophesying and baptizing and bring people to Christ, I know that we will get the victory over death and see those we miss. So I would like to think of it as a loved one just traveled somewhere, okay, until that realm, which is the spiritual realm, comes to our realm with our family, right? And I'm going to go into that this coming Sabbath. I'm going to go into Thessalonians, that whole breakdown of what's really going on in the spiritual realm. And it's deep. And I told Dwayne, I told Blaine, when it comes to his brother Dwayne, what encouraged me also is to understand the other side. It's when Azariah was on the other side. And after he thought he was gone, they told him he was going to be dead and told me he's going to be dead in 2 hours. He lived 3 months after that. But he said he was on the other side. He was with the angel. And he said he can even see me at his bed from the other side. And when he was pulled back in, he seen me and he smiled. He asked the angels to allow him back so that he can testify. Everything we're teaching according to that side is correct. Everything we taught that's in the 70 scriptures that's missing in the Apocrypha is what he experienced the first stages of it before the Most High brought him back to tell us that there's life over there. When he woke up, he was smiling. I'm like, man, they did all types of operations where he couldn't even feel the rest of his body. And he's sitting there smiling. And he could see from the other side before he woke up, and they woke him up. And I was standing right there in front of him. And I anointed him with oil. That gave me some insight to when Paul says he was taken up into the third heaven. And he was shown all these things. He was shown death, what happens on either side, and all that. That's what gives Thessalonians the full understanding of why he could state that with such boldness. For us to not lose hope like others or grieve like others who have no hope. He see what happens over there in the spiritual realm. Our loved ones who are in Christ are fine. If anything, what they're doing more so is cheering for us to finish. But and I'm gonna tell you, man, it was, it was good being there with you, brothers. And I'll tell you this, it won't be too long before we together again, my brother.
Yeah, man, definitely. It's good. It was good seeing you, man. I remember, what came to my mind when you was leaving, man. I said, I can't make it go this long again without linking in, and is that energy that we all have when we're together, that energy, man. It's just, and the brotherly love. Yeah, and I tell you what, Elder, you remember that brother that you asked me about if he had reached out, the one that
Yeah.
did the video over there. He called, man, crying, saying he was sorry.
May the Most High bless the brother.
Yeah, man.
May the
And
Most High bless him.
a few people reached out that reached out and offered condolences, man, and people that used to be amongst us are no longer, and like kind of said that the sorry, man, and I know they're watching, man. So
Yeah.
I saw your messages, and there's no hard feelings. I have no hate or animosity, man. It's always been love from the beginning. You with me? I have all I don't know. I'm not playing church, or this isn't a Sabbath day thing for me. This is life. You with me? And yo, man, we all want to go to the end, to see the end of this. You with me? Ride it, as I'm saying, ride it till the wheels fall off. And the love, the camaraderie, the brotherhood is real. We argue like any family. We have our up days, we have our down days, but at the end of the day, man, we have it we hold it for each other. And you can't buy that, you can't fake that.
Yeah.
You understand me? Christ asks the question, who is my brother? Who is my mother? And it's them that do the Father's will. I am closer with men who I'm not, not as they would put it, biologically related to, but I feel closer amongst these men, these brethren, more than my own flesh. And that's no disrespect to my family. I love them, but I'm saying that, there's the blood of Christ, as you said, Elder Man, is stronger than anything else that we have, and this has been an experience. You with me? I've never,
a trying experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the word, trying.
Yeah.
You with me? Trying. Very trying. And but through it all, we never doubted the Most High. We never lost faith in Him, and we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep going for Him. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep doing it.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
We're gonna keep doing it, man. And yeah.
Well, I was going to say, make sure, and I spoke to Dwayne, Sister Michelle that was in the UK. Make sure somebody try to reach out and talk and find her. I just want to put that out there.
Okay.
All right. And I'm gonna tell you, brother, we're family. This is now I can understand the love that Christ was talking about amongst the brethren.
Mm-hmm.
And this is family, man. This is for life. This is what
Definitely.
true brotherhood. When we sat there to meet that last night before leaving, and all the children and everyone was there, and all the children who know the truth concerning themselves, and I'm like, you know what? This is the family of Christ. This is a true family. I mean, and I'm humbled to be a part of it. I'm not just to be an integral part who spearheaded through the gospel a lot of what's going on, right, as far as this church is concerned, but outside of what I am and what I've done, I'm humbled just to be a part, just to sit back and look at it and be a part of it, because that scene with men, women, and children all together in the UK with nothing, it was nothing but love amongst, I'm going to tell you, that's bigger than anything, man. It's big. So, hey, there's no love like the love of the brethren.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, let's get some rest. I know it's late there, guys. I'm going to call you tomorrow.
All right, Elder Man.
All right. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you.
Bless me.
All right, there go Elder Gaja. He's gone. Brothers and sisters, I need to see y'all in that academy. Come and help support. I'm going into Tracing the Serpent Seed this coming Sunday. Go to historytimes.org and keep in mind, the Most High is calling back Israel. Good night.
The East is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel. In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With a great escape, we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans. Our highest gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us at gunpoint. Together our wives and children then sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled in fear. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. A high gatherer in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans, a highest gathering Israel, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, a highest gathering Israel. Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. That's who we be, Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans. Our highest gathering Israel.